This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Friday, the 13th of September, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who is overseas, will not be back in time for this afternoon's launch of the fifth and final session of the 12th Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The Senate also begins its fifth session this afternoon, with a sitting simultaneously of both houses. However, the Senate will not debate any bills. Today's launch will not be a ceremonial opening, which involves a military guard of honor and an address by the president to join gatherings of both houses. Instead, the Senate and the House will each sit at 1:30 p.m. in their respective southern and northern chambers of the Red House. The respective clerks of both the Senate and the House will read the proclamation launching the fifth session. The proclamation includes a provision for virtual participation by any absent parliamentarians who needs that facility. Each house then begins its respective business. Dr. Rowley left on September 1st for medical checkups in the U.S. He is expected back next week. Neither Dr. Rowley nor leader of the opposition, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, were present at last Monday's House sitting in the fourth session either. The central bank said declines in both international commodity prices and domestic energy production led to an overall deficit of $4.3 billion on the central government's fiscal accounts for the first 9 months of fiscal 2023-24. In its July 24 economic bulletin, the bank said central government revenues declined by $5.5 billion year on year to $35.0 billion, owing to a fall-off in energy revenues, while expenditure fell by $1.1 billion to $39.3 billion. It said adjusted general government debt outstanding, which includes debt issued for sterilization purposes, increased to $141.1 billion by the end of June 2024, from $136.4 billion at the end of September 2023. Headline inflation picked up slightly to 0.7% year-on-year in June 2024. The labor market conditions softened while inflation remains subdued, according to the CSO. The unemployment rate measured 5.4%. It said the labor force contracted by 2,900 people, and labor force participation rate declined to 54.7%. The number of people employed fell by 5,600, while the number of people without jobs and actively seeking employment grew by 2,700 people. A state of emergency should not be used as a crime-fighting tool. This from former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith. He explained the significance of an SOE and factors which can influence its introduction. Griffith reviewed some of the implications which can arise when an SOE is in effect in terms of challenges to businesses, citizens, the economy, investment, tourism, employment, adding it can have a domino effect. New payment options are being used to carry out illegal activities by criminal elements. It's a point highlighted by Director of Financial Intelligence Unit, Nigel Stoddard. Money laundering and terrorist financing are some of the mediums explored by these individuals involved in illicit activities. He made the remarks while speaking at the 5th Annual Virtual Compliance Conference this past Thursday. In news of the region, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonzalez says he's trying to get information on a plane belonging to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, which was recently seized by U.S. Department of Homeland Security. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland confirmed in a statement on September 2nd the plane had been seized in the Dominican Republic. The U.S. government said the plane was brought through a shell company in the Caribbean and for Maduro's use in violation of sanctions and export control laws. The U.S. government also claimed the plane had been exported to Venezuela via St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Jamaica has announced its setting up of a disaster risk management review committee to ensure the country is adequately prepared for all types of future disasters. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has cited the importance of this preparedness and the need to learn from lessons after the passage of Hurricane Beryl. And finally, former U.S. President Donald Trump says he will not debate Kamala Harris again, days after the pair's first showdown in Philadelphia on Tuesday night. Moments after Trump's comments, the Harris campaign issued a statement saying, "We owe it to the voters to have another debate. Harris and Trump are both on the campaign trail for the first time since they faced off on the ABC debate held in Philadelphia. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We will have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Good morning, neighbors. On this universal spooky day, the 13th, Friday, the 13th of September. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. We should have full cast in. Wendell will pop in for a little bit, I believe. But you just heard from Dr. Paul Richards. We'll hear from Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Ruben and Shane in the mix. Of course, my name is Steve Khan. Quickly, let's see if there's any traffic to tell you about. No, just from Coover to Chase Village, you've got some traffic there. And you got some volume heading towards the interchange and in the Port of Spain and getting on to that Humpy Bridge. All right. That's it. 26 degrees at Piarco International Airport, 27 at Crown Point. And let's see if the Met Office has updated their weather forecast for today. Got some rain at about 5 o'clock, quarter to 5 this morning, but didn't last long. The Met Office says today is going to be fair periods interrupted by partly cloudy intervals associated with few infrequent light to moderate showers over most areas. From early afternoon to late evening, there's a low chance, 60%. Some showers can become heavy. All right, so that's we'll have a mixed day, put it that way. All right. Good morning to you, Paul.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone. Friday morning to you all.
Yeah. Friday. Thank God it's Friday.
It's been one of those weeks.
It's been a long week.
And yes, it was particularly tough for me.
Oh, everything all right, I hope?
Yeah, I just said my one day I have 2 classes back to back to teach.
Ah, okay. Well, yesterday, I will tell you my dilemma. So I left my little glasses on the counter and I was puttering, doing something. And Miss Callie decided to play football with my glasses. So I came back and I said, "Where is it?" It fell and it broke.
When you have children.
Yeah. So I have to go by that place on Henry Street to see if the kids. So I had to, and then I couldn't find my other glasses.
Well, that place on Henry Street, the brothers fix all kinds of glasses, eh?
Yeah. So, right at 8 o'clock, I am going.
Bodkins or Bodmans or something like that?
But I think it's Bodmans.
Bodmans or something like that.
On Henry Street. So I'm wearing my backup glasses, but just pinch my little nosy. So at 8 o'clock, I am going for sure and see if they could work a miracle. Other than that, it's $4,000 for glasses. I wonder people that work on
actually no
glasses.
I'm going to give them a free plug.
Mm-hmm.
Go to 868 Eyes on what street is that?
868 Eyes
in Port of Spain. I got 2 glasses for $2,400.
Really? That number 868
Eyes. I'll send you the number.
Okay, do that for me. So if somebody from international.
There are a lot of options now that are not particularly expensive.
Oh, wonderful. Send that for me. Send that. I always wonder, and I've been seeing this for a long time. Glasses are so expensive, huh? Time you get.
Depends on where you go, Steve.
Test the eye.
Where you go. Not anymore. There are a lot of more affordable options now.
Yeah, I know there's one by True Value in the Quasi there. But
I think they have a branch in that Maxi on the highway in Trinity. In that mall there, they have a branch there also.
That's Socialize you're talking about.
And the socialize is another one.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, Cali was playing football with my glasses. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Put it that way. It is Friday the 13th.
And what is they used to freak me out, you know, anymore.
Friday 13th.
So I used to actually say, wow, better be careful today.
Yeah. And those movies that came out Friday the 13th. Ugh.
And Daniel is right, there now online options where you could get a pair of glasses for less than $80.
Yeah, well,
excuse me.
Yeah, well, these
Boddington,
frames,
yes, that's
Boddingtons, that's it.
Boddington. Those buildings have been there forever, but they fix. I've gone there on at least 2 occasions already, and they fix it while you're there.
Oh, better yet.
Mm-hmm.
Better yet. So I'll get him to fix it.
I don't know how bad it is.
It's my nose.
While you're there.
This one pinches my nose. I don't like it. Ow. It's a nice frame. It's just it pinched my nose. So maybe they'll fix this one for me too. That's it. Boddingtons. I'm going there. Morning, Boddingtons. You'll see me shortly in a couple hours.
Anyway, good morning to the
these frames I did buy online. So
it's Friday morning.
Yeah, it is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. The weekend is in sight. I don't even know what's going on in the news. I have no clue.
Well, both houses of parliament sitting this afternoon at 1:30 for the start of the 5th and final session of this 12th parliament, Republican parliament. Dr. Ali will not be there.
No.
Still overseas. He's expected back into the country next week, according to newspaper reports. And there's a bill that's expected to start debate in the House. Global Forum, something or the other, to meet Trinidad and Tobago's obligations for transparency in tax exchange agreements, yada, yada, yada. Excuse me. The central bank posted a report. The countries as at the end of the 3rd quarter, the country's overall deficit was $4.3 billion. Revenue declined by $5.5 billion compared to last year, the same period, because of course of declining energy commodity prices and our challenges with production levels. We've discussed this ad nauseum with Energy Minister Stuart Young and other stakeholders. We're entering another budget cycle, and the budget cycle is in an election year. The finance minister did say that, well, the projected budget deficit from last budget will, of course, be more because we have less revenue than expected. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of budget Minister Imber presents. I don't know where this frog come from, Mr. all of a sudden.
Sahara dust isn't here.
All right. In terms of the labor market, labor force contracted by 2,900 people. So roughly 3,000 people lost jobs. And 2,700 people are actively seeking employment. It stands at just over 5.4% unemployment rate. So that's just below full employment. Quite interesting.
Budget might be on the 30th of September, you think?
So I have heard. So maybe Finance Minister Imber will announce. No, he did. Let me see. In the middle of September, yeah, he may announce it this afternoon. You know.
Really?
Because he's piloting this Global Forum bill, so he may just take the opportunity to announce when the budget will be read. Usually, it doesn't take about 2 weeks in advance. So we may hear when the budget is going to be read this afternoon.
And you'll be there as well.
I'll be in the Senate. In the other place.
The other place.
We should be going home early. We shouldn't stay more than an hour in the other place. But the House is going to debate that bill.
Oh boy.
But it's just really just an opening. The parliament, any parliamentary cycle usually consists of 5 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And each session closes one, like we closed one last week, and we just open. Usually there may be a ceremonial opening with the president addressing joint sitting of both houses with members of the judiciary, etc. But that's not happening this year. Just a normal opening. Good morning, Mr. Stephen.
Yeah. And flying overseas, let's welcome Wendell.
Morning, Dr. Richards, and good morning, Mr. Khan. Good morning, Mr. Ragoobarsingh, and good morning, listeners and viewers all over the place. Yes, I am actually in Piaco. Yeah, so I'll just be able to do a few minutes with you guys before.
I have a bucket list trip coming up in 5 weeks. That's what I'll say.
5 weeks,
Yeah.
say. That's a
Bucket list trip. That's what I'll say.
Somewhere in
I'm not
Africa.
going to tell you anything else. I'm going to sign on from that location
Mm-hmm.
and give you all an iconic background.
Is that so? It's somewhere in Africa now.
It could be in Double Palm, you don't know. That could
Yeah,
be
it could be in Aranjuez. It could be in Aranjuez.
Nah. That won't be iconic for you. That's a regular thing.
I want to dash this coffee on the screen. I want to dash this cup of coffee on the screen for that statement. You know, parliamentarians like the throw teacups.
Yes, I do. I do.
All right.
I do. You know, but I don't know if you guys. I would have missed your opening salvo. And by the way, happy birthday to those celebrating birthdays today.
Our opening, Wendell, was
Mhm.
that for Paul and myself, for you to bring back the Bob Marley T-shirts.
Those things aren't cheap, eh? I'm gonna tell you one time, eh? In that Bob Marley museum, it's not cheap, eh?
Well, you feel the thing I bring for you cheap?
Put them
You
in
like to reproach?
Once I go there again, I have no plans of going there again, but I will look out for something for you guys. Don't worry. I bring back a nice big. I'm going back to Jamaica. You know, but I plan to see other parts.
There.
My grandson.
Oh, your grandson is there. Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's on a full scholarship there. So
It's such a
I'm
dutiful
gonna go and check him from time to time. Yeah.
He's such a dutiful grandfather.
Yeah. So I've been like his father since he's a child. So
their flight was on time.
Making sure that line stays strong, boy.
Yeah. No. He is going to make the family proud. He's the first family member to attend St. Mary's College, you know, and now the first family member to get a scholarship.
Poor fella.
So,
really sorry to hear you go in CIC.
Well, he did well. He's doing well in spite of that.
he's doing very well. You know,
Yeah.
and so
Really
we want him to fulfill his dream. We want to run in the next Olympics in Los Angeles in the next 4 years. So
Really?
yeah, really. I think he will.
Nice.
You know, once he sticks at it, and he remains healthy and injury free and so on, I think he will make the Olympics team in the next.
Wonderful. Good news. That's some good news there, folks.
I see there's a country that's put sex as an official sport. Is it Germany?
What?
Somebody sent something for me yesterday. They put sex as an official sport. Who sent that for me yesterday?
I would not like to hear the commentary for that sport.
But you
I just pictured it. I can't even say anything.
No, well, watch exactly what you did there might be part of the commentary.
Yeah,
the
commentary will be beep 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 beep.
I think I might have to go and look for honorary German citizenship.
For why?
I'm not saying.
Why?
Why? It's a sport, you have to excel.
Okay. That shouldn't be too difficult.
You just want to qualify.
That shouldn't be too difficult. I wonder what's the qualification criteria.
Sweden registers sex as a sport. Yes.
Okay.
While other countries may regard sex as a taboo subject, Sweden has become the first country in the world to register sex as a sport. It was also revealed that under the supervision of the Swedish Sex Federation, there's a Swedish Sex Federation,
There's
a European Sex Championship is scheduled to take place on Thursday. The matches will reportedly last 40 to 60 minutes. That rules you out both out, 40 to 60 minutes.
Oh,
Contestants will form different European countries and will compete in 16 different disciplines to show their talents.
that sounds very interesting. But you know, we had you remember years ago, we had a Swedish woman who went into Tobago and participated and almost had a almost run through all them Tobago men. Simona Fricka. Simona Fricka was her name. You remember that?
The disciplines.
Hold on, Paul. How you remember that name, Wendell?
I don't know why. I have a good memory for these things.
The judges will be
Simona
looking at
Fricka.
seduction, body massage, exploring erotic zones, prelude, oral sex, penetration, endurance, physical appearance, pose execution, creativity in position changes, number of orgasms within a given time to determine who wins.
Oh my Lord!
I'll probably excel one or two of those areas. But I'll fail in some of the others.
Oh my God!
Which two?
Yeah?
Which two?
I say I'll fail in a couple and
They're
I'll
eating the
excel.
dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
You know, he says no. He's not doing any more debates. What's the debate?
That disastrous performance. What you expect?
Well, you can't blame him.
You understand?
He is going to lose. He is going to lose that U.S. election like no other presidential candidate has
Let me tell
ever
you
done
something.
before.
And
I think it's 47, 42 now.
it's an interesting development because there's so many Republican senators and Congress people who have endorsed Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Harris.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the Republican Party sees an opportunity to retake their party from his clutches
Mhm.
because he's commandeered the Republican Party. And they're afraid of him. They've been afraid of him for the last over 8 years.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
And they're seeing this as an opportunity to get their party back on some sort of respectable footing
Mhm.
because he is the one representing their party and has since
9 years.
Barack Obama,
Yes.
since before Barack Obama. So that's almost
That's
16
right.
years, you know.
That's right.
Yes.
So I mean, and he's embarrassed them and the country on so many occasions, and he can't be what represents the Republican Party because the Republican Party, even if you're a Democrat, you have to admit has done great things for the United States.
Yeah.
There have been great Republican presidents,
hmm
and he
Bush.
certainly should not be the standard bearer for the Republican Party.
But if you remember the history of American politics, the Republicans were the favored party back in the day for
Because they
all the
built-
immigrants and so
They
on.
built the country,
Yeah. Yes.
you know, but they've allowed this element to take over the party, and they're so cowardly that he's run roughshod over them, and well, the history shows it. Anyway, enough.
And I
of
want
that.
to bring it. Allow me quickly before I have to leave. Allow me quickly to bring the politics back home a little bit with the ridiculous comments coming from the opposition leader now, and attacking the Minister of Health in a most disgraceful way, and attacking the Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Roshan Parashram. I mean, when we thought that things were bad during COVID with her comments, but she continues with them. She now wants to have a commission of inquiry into COVID, and almost like if she's threatening the Minister of Health and the Chief Medical Officer of Health with sanctions. I mean, after coming after raising the marijuana use age and the gambling age from 18 to 25, but that was one of her proposals. You understand? And now a commission of inquiry into COVID, how we handled COVID-19. I mean, she bordering on the ridiculous now. Something. But
Well,
guess what?
it is the season heading into the election, so one can expect all sorts
Yeah,
of utterances from all politicians.
And I know that in a poll.
It's not
But
going to be
if you
limited
went,
to Mrs. Pasalbi Sessa at all.
No, but I am going with the type of comment she's been making. You understand? And
And
I don't think
we have
the
seen
Minister
all
of
types
Health.
of comments from all types of politicians leading up to almost every election in
You
the last
see
25 years.
this all doing it thing. Me and buying that this morning, because Mrs. Kamala Prasad needs to be held account for the comments that she's been making. Full stop. Threatening a Minister of Health and threatening the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Roshan Parasham, the way she's been doing, I think it's very, very uncalled for. Especially knowing how they handle. Her supporters, they all went out and got that vaccine. They all were happy to take the vaccine. Not so under the same guidance of Dr. Roshan Parasham and Dr. Miriam Abdul Richards. You understand? They were very happy to go and take it. So what about all the hundreds of thousands of your supporters who supported the actions of the government then and of the health officials? What about them? They fools too? I'm sure she took the vaccine. Because I'm sure she had to travel during that time. Because everybody who had to travel had to take
To
the
get a
vaccine.
vaccine, yeah.
You had no choice. You had no choice. You understand? But I think her comments are uncalled for. I don't think Minister of Health Terence Singh is a politician. He can handle that. But I don't think Dr. Parasham
But
and the
maybe he
medical
will
team
acquiesce
need it.
to a request from Steve to appear on the show, which Steve has been trying to get him on for the longest while.
Mhm.
I'm sure.
Well,
I'm sure.
we haven't been successful. Anyway, y'all's interview with Mr. Hughes yesterday is at over 9,000 views in under
Yeah,
20
I watched it over last night.
It
I
was.
watched it
It
over.
was. I feel sorry for that later. I really do.
For his lawyer,
There were some inconsistencies in his statements.
plenty.
Yeah,
Plenty.
they were.
Because
That's
he's saying
why
he's not doing it. He's saying he's not doing it for a living, but he is, eh?
there were
Yeah,
inconsistencies in his statements, and no one can tell a sovereign state what laws to have and how to apply them.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding,
He also
and I'm
said-
talking specifically about the work permit issue here now. Okay?
But
If you
Paul,
are saying that is how you make your living, and you go into a country to work, that may eventually be debated in the courts.
but he has a
But then
point,
again,
though.
he's not on that charge. But
But-
I do agree, and we said it before, that there seems to be some level of harassment by the state.
Yeah. Clearly. Because I agree with his point that a lot of us, we've traveled, Paul, you and I, lately, and we've done the program from wherever we are. You understand?
Mhm.
Did we break a law? Because we ain't doing it for free. You understand? I mean, sometimes I just feel like I doing it for free, but not you. You understand? But
You'd be surprised.
I'm doing it for free.
You'd be surprised.
I'm doing it for
I do
free.
it just to see your face every other morning.
Oh Lord.
no, but seriously, you
I'm
know,
a
I find it nitpicking in some instances with Mr. Hughes, but Mr. Hughes is also being a little less than honest. I mean, there's your living,
I mean,
and I don't think.
when we asked him, how
Mhm.
did Trinidad and Tobago come to your attention? And he said, well, he just came here.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, I know better than that. That's why I asked him if there's a political slanted, because I know the young man.
Well, I
who he's
don't think he
dealing
was
with.
brought here. I agree with it, but I think that when his video started to put a spotlight on certain elements of criminality, I think people saw it as an opportunity to champion the narrative. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
But I think he has some good points, and he has some questions to answer. Because as I told you, I saw a video of him in St. Augustine. He didn't remember, where he was interviewing people after the 4 deaths in St. Augustine.
Oh, I didn't see that doing.
I saw it, and then I searched all over for it, and it disappeared.
Right.
And in that video, he came out as mother. The police killed 4 people, and killed has a different connotation to deaths at the hands of and the police involved killing. You understand? And that video has disappeared. So,
because I heard when you asked him about it,
mhm.
and he said he didn't know that place called St. Augustine. and then you narrowed it down to St. John's Road. And he also said he's not familiar with that area, that name, you know. But you could have hint me. I could have drill him some more. If you had given a little heads up there, I'd have joined that tag team. Because you ask him when I comes to one. Say, but there is a video. I have it on YouTube.
I've never ended up in a situation where I had to tag team with you. And I said, on the radio is one of those occasions.
You gotta go Sweden.
Oh boy. I think I have to leave where I am from doing the program. It's like they send everybody across here. Hold on, guys. Let me take off my camera and move, right? Hold on.
Okay.
Anyway, we can open the phones now. It's Friday morning. Sir, we can open the phone lines.
Right. So I don't think the phones are fixed yet. It is out of control. I'll tell you that from our end. So that needs to be rectified. But you can call us 62-power option 5. And for toll-free North Americans, 866-525-1099. Locally, 62-power 627-6937, option number 5. Let's say happy anniversary. Going out to Mr. and Mrs. Oliver and Warren. Good morning to you. 26th anniversary, I believe it is. So have a good one.
26 years, you say?
Yeah.
Mrs. Manwaring, Oliver deserve a medal, man.
Not Oliver, Mrs. Manwaring.
Nah. Women go through those years quick and thing. Women go through a lot and could take a lot. It's men who can't take a lot, you know. And when a man stand up there for that 26 years, you know he will take a lot.
You know that that pet shop on 5th Street in Barataria? It was robbed. Bandits went there.
I didn't understand that video. I didn't quite understand that video you said.
Yeah, that's the video within the pet shop on 5th Street in Barataria between 3rd and 4th. And when went to rob him, I'll pass on my way home and I'll pass and check him out. Morning, Dylan. Good morning, Cole.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Captain Ron.
This is early. I'm over in Oakland, California, but you guys are so great. I can't miss you. I had to come this early.
Careful about the earthquakes.
No, I'm far away. I'm north of it. I'm near San Francisco. It's Oakland. Listen, first of all, I guess first I agree with Mr. Wendell there. I think the opposition leader needs to be held accountable because if you go back in history, she's always the first one talking about litigation against anybody that's opposing her and making comments. But she's free to do whatever she wants, say whatever she wants. But when anybody say anything about her, she wants to take them to court. So something needs to be done. Okay, but what is most troubling to me is yesterday when we all reported that news about the lady in Tobago with the 2 kids. That thing touched me so much because it reminded me of my phone company, my brothers and myself. I never told you all this, but I'm going to say it now. My father, police officer, he shot my mother and shot himself and tried to shoot 3 of us.
You broke up there a little bit. You went low.
I said my father, he shot my mother and shot himself and tried to shoot 3 of us.
How traumatic.
Wow.
And, by the grace of God, that's how we ended up here living in the U.S. My father's sister does this. And that incident reminded me so much that I feel so sad about those situations. And I'm hearing that I may be wrong, maybe you also put it through it, but I'm hearing is that somebody had put her out, evicted her from where she was. And it's just sad that, that anybody can evict a lady, a woman with 2 young children. It's really sad. It troubles me all day yesterday up this morning. Anyway, guys, have a good weekend and
same to you.
Have a safe flight wherever you're off to.
Have a great weekend.
Yes. Off to Jamaica, right?
Also, some information that she may have had some mental.
I'm maybe down there Sunday.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Mental
Message
health
me.
challenges. So, if you've noticed, the reports have not indicated any faulty like murder or anything like that. So we'll see what the autopsies provide.
Yeah.
It's a really tragic story, because children are getting involved,
A 1 and 3-year-old. All right. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Hello. Hi. Good morning, gentlemen. Hi,
Good
Steve.
morning.
Sexual animal lover here.
Hey, how you going?
I day poke no beef. Wendell, when you go to Jamaica, you get the Bob Marley shirt, the same one that you get at the museum, a lot cheaper on the outside, unfortunately.
Yeah, buy it on the outside.
Yeah, on the outside. Just a quick thing concerning a 70-year-old pensioner that I try to assist from time to time. Recently, she got a little disabled. She fell and she broke her kneecap in 3 places.
Oh gosh.
And her only source of income is the pension, which is 3.5, I think. She's paying a rent of 1,700 plus the cost of medication and all of that, right? And somebody informed her that social services is offering a little grant to get some furniture. Now, her apartment is just bare bones, a bed, a stove, a refrigerator, and that's it. She has nowhere to sit, really. So she wanted to get a cheap living room set. So I took her across to social services in Chagonas last week. They told her that she has to go to get an invoice from one of her furniture store that she wants to get the item from. Now, she went to Furniture Plus in Montrose, and she was very distraught when they told her she has to pay $100 just to get an invoice.
What?
So I said, that's ridiculous. I said, I need to get a receipt. They don't give receipts for that. So I had to dig in my pocket now to give her $100 because she wasn't expecting to pay that. Her bank account is like $100 and something. I kid you not. So we got the invoice, headed back down to giving everything to social services. She went back a day or two after. She had to provide her bank statement and all of that, only for a rep to tell her that she doesn't qualify because she's getting pension. Right? I mean, she was so distraught, guys. She even ended up calling again, and somebody told her the person gave her wrong information that she would be qualifying. So I don't know what is happening with this particular. You know, it's very unfortunate, and I hope the minister could look into this and bring some sort of clarification to the CSR so they can disseminate the proper information to these people, because they don't go there because they have. They go there because they're in need, you know?
Exactly.
So now we have to now try to see if we can assist her, because her leg is in a cast and she's not comfortable sitting on a bed all the time, you know? And be a little bit more compassionate towards these persons is not easy, you know? And Furniture Plus, I'm very disappointed in you guys charging $100.
The owner of Furniture Plus, I know, listens to the show.
Yeah, he's an avid listener
So
to
I'm
this.
sure he's an avid listener to the show, and he's one of the nicest human beings you could meet. So I'm sure
Very nice.
I'm sure he'll address it, Mr. Amjad Ali.
Because people don't, you know, it was really sad to see her. She went in there in a cast and she's obviously in need, and you charge her, and she didn't have the money, and I had to pay for her. You know,
Right.
It's not easy, guys. Right? So enjoy Jamaica. Don't forget to pass.
I will. And just to address the other matter, that issue of social services, we need to get Minister Donna Cox, because I have
tried to call her a couple of times, and
Good morning, Richard.
Because the morning,
and all of that, but it's something you need to let the nation know how they go about accessing these different grants and stuff. You know?
All right.
So take care, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
I found out from a reliable source that a gentleman went in there to get assistance, the social grant and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was refused. Guess why? Because he does every now and then push a barrel wrong, you know, like them market people, and you get like $15 a day or something. So they push a barrel. They found out he was doing that and disqualified him, because as far as they're concerned, that's an income he getting. $15.
I will tell you that the owner of Furniture Plus just WhatsApped me. So Central Animal Lover, you can contact me. I'm going to see about my glasses at 8, so call me mid-morning.
Yeah, Amjad is a very nice human being. And Furniture on the whole, generally, and whenever I go there, I'm always
Oh, yeah.
satisfied when I go into the
It's
clinic.
surprising because that's a really grassroots type of establishment that usually doesn't have that
It
kind of
is.
response
Yeah,
in
it
public.
is.
It
And I
is.
mean,
It is.
I deal with Kavita, the GM of furniture.
Mhm.
I don't know Amjad. He's too busy.
The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has appointed 8
Excellent
new
service.
ACPs and 6 new superintendents. The new
That story is
assistant.
scandalous. Eh?
Let me finish the reading now.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
You like to cut off too quick. That's your problem. Let the thing
No,
marinate a little
I
bit.
don't get antsy when I hear TTPS,
Let
right?
the thing
Go ahead.
marinate a little bit and
Go ahead.
finish the process before you
You're
just
Lincoln number 2.
and cut it off. You understand? You like to finish it too quick. That's your problem. Just get antsy.
You know what tells me?
The Commissioner of Police, earlier here with Christopher, congratulated and promoted the officers and presented their instruments of appointment to the new assistant commissioners and also senior superintendents. The new assistant commissioners of police are as follows: ACP Wayne Meister, ACP Kurt Simon, ACP Richard Smith, ACP Andy Tiwari, ACP Brian Sudin, ACP Anand Ramasai. I didn't realize he was still in service.
I didn't realize that either. The last place he was in Tobago.
Yeah, ACP Anthony Remy and ACP Rishi Singh. Newly appointed senior superintendents are Senior Superintendent Roger Alexander, Senior Superintendent Michael Jackman, Senior Superintendent Arlette Groom, Senior Superintendent Brian Ramphel, Senior Superintendent Andrew John, and Senior Superintendent Christopher Pamponet. Congratulations to you all.
You serious about that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why not? Well, you get ready for promotion for you don't know what their process is and if they and how and when they qualify. Well, you get that for.
I was reading an article.
You haven't issued the promotions?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
I was reading an article from 2009. Philbert James was Commissioner of Police. A prisoner escaped from a police station. The same day, the next day, Philbert James issued 4 letters of suspension to the 4 officers. They had to report the first Wednesday in each month and the last Thursday in each month. Immediately. Where are those days? One of those police officers who was just promoted, right, was just remonstrated by a court, right, for two guys who are awarded $90,000 each. Okay? Because this police officer decided to charge them because they were filming him at Baraka grounds. He's one of those officers just promoted to assistant commissioner of police. Huh? We can't be serious. We ain't serious.
You should. Good morning again.
The whole airport get quiet now we're talking. Let me hush my mouth.
Oh, we have a new feature. Avril, where's Avril? Avril is going to give us a taste of what's coming up at 7 o'clock. Come on, Avril. Where are you, St. Hill, Bob? Before we go into the headlines, where are you, Bob? Bob, you're late. Bob.
Assistant Commissioner of Police is just below deputy. Is that what it is?
I think
it
so.
is. It is.
So.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big promotion.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went
All
there.
the promotions, you say there's only men, and no women that wanted promotion. Or
yeah, you realize that too. All men,
But there are, is it 2 or 3 DCPs?
Two DCPs are women.
And the commissioner is female, so what are you complaining about? Leave people and do a thing now. Where's Bob? Where's Bob? Bob, you're late. You know. Where's Avril, Steve?
Just how Richard do newspapers now.
I'm here, I've been here.
Come, we have a new, we want to give people a sense
Steve
of
is
I don't know what's going on.
you're not required to know.
Come, Avril, let's hear it.
Come, let's hear what's coming up at 7 o'clock, Avril.
Am I supposed to do it to camera or no?
Don't just do it just so.
Just so, okay. Good morning. I'm Avril Sintel Bab. It is time for news headlines to the top of the hour. Prime Minister Rowley, not going to be there for this afternoon's launch of the fifth and final session of the 12th Parliament. He go be there. It's a big deal for we. Health Minister tell the opposition leader, listen, you had to apologize for them comments on fake vaccine because that was out of pocket and it was unnecessary. Don't do it and apologize. It was wrong. Former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith again. He said that the SOE is not a crime fighting tool and well, they have no business even considering that. It makes no sense to do it. Meanwhile, the attorney at law, Gavin Nicholas, he said, listen, we could learn lessons from looking at other countries and seeing how they fight crime because clearly looking at ourselves is not working. And the TTPS is appealing once again for the public's help in the fight against crime because they say here now we can't do it ourselves. Well, they're complaining, well, help, do something. Don't just so we do something.
Speaking of do something, I don't know why Paul put it on the camera.
Details coming up at 7 o'clock.
Not even put it on the camera.
So I'm doing
the
the news headlines.
Sorry.
I am doing the news
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Maybe I wish you could read the news just so.
Your news headlines to 7
the news
o'clock. Look
headline.
out for more details at 7.
Did you all enjoy that?
Paul, you want to put back on the camera? Oh, there it is. I tell you, what was
The
that?
camera was never off, Steve.
I know.
Why
the-
I feel like Richard wrote the script for that.
No, I have no part.
No, yesterday we in the newsroom. So I said, Avril, what are you working up to for 12 o'clock? And Avril rolled out the news like that. I see you need to do that in the morning. I said, you need to do that in the morning.
Hey,
That's how news supposed to be.
yeah.
Richard, the papers.
Yeah.
Please.
I'll just give the headline.
Well done, Avril. Well done.
The days of prime ministers walking in newsroom done it.
Newsday, Friday, September 13th. Today's a Black Friday.
It is, eh?
The Newsday for today, the front page. DCP and union support latest police promotions. Best cops for the job.
Richard, you know why you're sounding off, Mike?
All right. Does this help? I don't know why I'm sounding off, Mike.
Right, go ahead. Let me hear.
Yeah. DCP union support latest police promotions. Best cops for the job. That's the headline of the Newsday today. The main picture is that of U.S. Ambassador Candace Bond greets a canine, about a canine officer, meaning a dog, I guess, at the TT Customs and Excise Division facility at Invaders Bay, Port of Spain. Health Minister Kamala abusing free speech. And on the back page of the Newsday, TKR look to end Royals' win streak and Trinbago Knight Riders a decade of champions. All of that is on the front and the back page of the Newsday. The Daily Express for today, front page. Health Minister demands apology from opposition leader for fake COVID vaccines comment. Say sorry, Kamala. Missing farmer found dead. And of course, there's a family in grief on the front page of the Daily Express.
By the way, that's a good poll today, Paul. Should Kamala Prasad be said to apologize to the health minister and the health officials for her comments?
And on the back page, it's news again, of course, Bridge of Contempt, Bridal Road crossing to be closed for 2 weeks after opening. And which is kind of crazy. Doma wants action on Queen Street building. It's vandalized and occupied by street dwellers. And trial date set at cops murder case. Main sports story. Central on hold. Kaulisa out as chairman. Elections end in tie. And in the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today on the front page, 60 reports of corruption. Whistleblowers complain to procurement regulator. 60 reports of corruption. TTPS promotes 14 officers, and there is a picture of the Commissioner of Police shaking hands with Roger Alexander, who is now a senior superintendent. And mystery surrounds deaths of mother and 2 children. All of that is on the front page. And on the back page, James Seals' comeback win. And the main pictures of a hit for 6 It looks like it's TKR. It's Alec Stanza. Is that his name, Wendell?
Athanaze, Alec Athanaze.
Athanaze.
Athanaze, yeah.
Athanaze of Barbados Royals. Well, it's a hit for 6. That's the main picture. And that's it for our 3 dailies this morning.
All right, let's get the results of our morning poll where we asked you yesterday. Let me just pull it up here. Right, so here we go. Yesterday we asked you, should the deadline be extended and an online payment option be instituted for property tax? 82%, 82 said yes.
Did you all see those lines somebody showed yesterday? I saw it on Facebook. Did you see those lines at Tunapuna? Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I find that the fact that politicians have not even deigned to reply is insulting.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that I was staying in any line like that.
And the highest degree of hubris that operates at a political level, that you're seeing lines like that, and you know what the problem is, and you know that because you don't have an online facility, and nobody has deigned to say anything except a note in newspapers yesterday.
But let people go in the lotto booths. Let people go in the lotto booths and pay, and they could go in the lotto booth and pay your WASA and your TNTech and anything now.
Not TNTech. You can pay pretty much everything.
WASA, you can pay TSTT. You could pay child support. So then, why don't they use the lotto booths to pay the property tax too? It's crazy, those lines I saw.
Yep. Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, let's get into this morning's poll.
I have 2 potential questions. One is Wendell's poll. Should the opposition leader apologize to health officials for her recent comments? Or 2, do you think mental health issues are being properly addressed in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, both of them kind of suit. Both of them kind of match up there, Paul. In a kind of way,
Let's go mental health.
We might actually be seeing a mental health issue anyway. Let me hush.
Your flight is on time. Stay quiet before they pull you off.
And that comes from the situation regarding the mother whose body was found with her 2 infants in the decommissioned Wassa tank in Tobago. There had been many reports that she had been displaying some mental health challenges by her behaviors recently.
Yeah, but was she ever diagnosed? I don't know that we want to stick that stigma there.
Well, I think walking in the road naked doesn't need a diagnosis, Wendell.
Who? Richard do that already? I mean, sorry, Richard.
Wow. If the lines are open, you can start.
I mean, I do that already.
6
Who never do that? You never walk the road naked, Paul.
The question this morning, do you think mental health issues are being properly addressed in Trinidad and Tobago? Yes or no? 62 power, option 5, toll free, 866-525-1099 on WhatsApp, 318-1021 on Facebook, and of course on YouTube. All right. Right, let's see if we got any here. Let's see. Yes to the poll, says John Cato. Richard P. Knight says no. Michael Oliver says no. Ray. Wendell, you ain't easy. Oh, boy. All right. Dan Rod says no.
I realize we provide a very important service here, A number of people come on to this show to vet their political frustrations on that chat. And if they didn't have it, I don't know what, like, they'll explode.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, I can't read the chat when I'm using my phone. That's the problem.
No bother. I want you to have a good fight.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Ooh, okay. So let's try. Val says no. Captain Ron says no. Eddie out in Staten Island says in New York says no. Cascade St. Anne says no. Southman says no. Let's see. Royalty Forever says no. Ray Garcia says no. Abigail. Morning, Abby. Hope all is well. Long time. No, it's not. CJ New York says no. Lyndon Leslie says no. Gloria Gray says no. J97 says no. Ben J. Singh says no. Gregory Bauer says no. Michael Gradison says no. Grid in Tucson, Arizona says no. Helen Prescott says no. Vincent out in the UK says no.
There is a new viral video of this man who has sex with women in Trinidad and Tobago and puts the videos online again. Gabriel.
Oh, Gabriel.
These women will never learn, huh?
Lorna. Morning, Lorna.
Sadly,
Morning, Indy Kali.
You know what happened with him before.
No.
And you put yourself in that position and that happened again just because you have a little money.
But the woman know Gabriel have a camera in his bedroom and they still going in our bedroom. Is the camera in the bedroom that filming all this? Next thing you know, Gabriel sitting wrong me.
Chris G says no. Geron says no. Helen Prescott says no. Oliver says no. Brennan Smith says no. David Wares says with. What is with? Julia S. Batiste says no. Arno says no. David Wares now says no, sir. Okay, sir. Lyndon Lassie says no. Let's see what we got here again. Lyndon Lassie. Khadijah Khan Jr. You need to vote, Kadeem. Sorry. Slick Money Grip says no. Anu says yes. Ray says no. Eve out in Sugar Gunners. What did he say here? No. All right. Do you think mental health issues are being properly addressed in Trinidad and Tobago? Good morning, caller.
Kansas City, no.
Thank you, Kansas. Whoever is calling on WhatsApp, we do not take WhatsApp calls. No way we can answer it. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Trevor in Georgia. No.
Thanks, Trev in Georgia. I haven't heard from Trev in is it Arima? Ruka? A long time. Maria Celia says no. Oof. Cheryl Henry says no. Let's see. Okay, Wayne Bennett says no. Ryan Ram Balkisoon, just yes or no we're looking for. Adonna Clark says no. Come on, you have like 20 seconds again to vote. Let's get that in while Evie settles in. All right. Let's see. Right. Okay. Beauty Culture says no. Frank says no. All right. Of course, poll is going to stay up until Monday morning. We'll put it on our mobile app and on our website where you can vote. All right. Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. Avison El Bab is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley will be absent for this afternoon's launch of the 5th and final session of the 12th Parliament. The Health Minister calls on the opposition leader to apologize for fake vaccines comment. A former police commissioner cautions against using a state of emergency as a crime-fighting tool. Meanwhile, the Attorney-at-Law, Garvin Nicholas, says there are lessons which can be learned from other countries in their fight against crime, and the TTPS appeals for public help in fighting crime. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Afril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who is overseas, will not be back in time for this afternoon's launch of the 5th and final session of the 12th Parliament. The Senate also begins the 5th session this afternoon with a sitting simultaneously with the House. However, the Senate will not debate any bills. Today's launch will also not be a ceremonial opening, which involves a military guard of honor and an address by the President to a joint gathering of both houses. Instead, the Senate and House will each sit at 1:30 p.m. in their respective southern and northern chambers of the House. The respective clerks on the Senate and House will read the proclamation launching the 5th session. The proclamation includes a provision for virtual participation by any absent parliamentarian who needs that facility. Each house then begins business. Dr. Rowley left on September 1st for a medical checkup in the U.S. and is expected back next week. Neither Dr. Rowley nor opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar were present for last Monday's House sitting for the 4th session either. Health Minister Terence Deyalsingh is demanding that opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar provide a full and complete retraction of her claim that fake vaccines were given to hundreds of thousands of people in Trinidad and Tobago during the COVID-19 pandemic. In a media release yesterday, the minister said Persad-Bissessar's assertion that a fake vaccine was administered to citizens is an affront to the entire public and private health sector and implies that doctors and nurses and other publicly spirited individuals who administered these vaccines were complicit in a hoax. He said that the allegation made by the opposition leader may also suggest that doctors and nurses breached their sacred oaths. The minister said that the health ministry only uses vaccines approved by the World Health Organization, and the one distributed in Trinidad and Tobago, Sinopharm, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson, all had WHO approval. He said healthcare professionals administered 1,554,804 doses. The minister said it was critical to note that of the 4,444 COVID-19 deaths, 3,960 or 89.1% were unvaccinated individuals. A state of emergency should not be used as a crime-fighting tool. That advice comes from former Minister of National Security and Police Commissioner Gary Griffith. He explained the significance of an SOE and factors which can influence its introduction. Griffith reviewed some of the implications which can arise when a state of emergency is in effect in terms of challenges to businesses, citizens, the economy, investment, tourism, unemployment, and more, adding that it can have a domino effect. He said when he served as National Security Minister, he implemented some of the proposals which were outlined by the Commission of Inquiry into the attempted coup.
What happens, in fact, is when you have a state of emergency, it affects the economy, it affects investment, it affects tourism, it can cause many businesses to shut down, it can then cause persons to be unemployed. That becomes a byproduct towards inflation, towards persons now being a greater need for money. It can cause an increase in crime. So it is a domino effect with a state of emergency. So you need to be very careful when you call it.
Griffith also cited what was done in Jamaica with the introduction of Zone of Special Operations and the benefits of using such a move. It targets specific areas, a curfew put in place in certain areas described as hotspots, and the military placed in positions to ensure better control, access, and mobility.
In Jamaica, for example, they have something known as Zone of Special Operations, ZOSO, which is a state of emergency with a curfew in specific areas, in hotspot areas, that gives the army now some degree of better mobility and control accessibility with the police in specific areas. So those are things that we can do.
Meanwhile, attorney at law Garvin Nicholas says there are lessons which can be learned from other countries in their fight against crime. He said from his research, he spent some time reviewing crime issues affecting countries around the world, such as Scotland, and looking at what has been done to address the situation and the accomplishments realized. Nicholas said since 2013 to now, Scotland had 605 murders and all have been solved, adding there are lessons which can be learned from developments of this kind as to what steps they took to reduce crime there and whether such measures can be used locally.
They have had organizations that deal specifically with things like human trafficking, serious organized crime, violence against women, hate crime, sharing intimate videos, cybercrime, sexual offenses, etc. But they have also then gone a little deeper. And they have gone into how you deal with poverty and inequality as an aspect of the causes of crime.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital till 7 o'clock. Assistant Superintendent of Police Lyndon Russell of the Eastern Policing Division has appealed for public support in the fight against crime. He made the plea during a community outreach program held by the Trinidad and Tobago Scrap Iron Dealers Association and the Sangre Grande Community Policing Unit on Thursday in Northeastern Settlement. ASP Russell urged for continuous support and interaction among family members, especially during these trying times.
You all have to be that moral voice. Have that conversations with your loved ones, with your children. Let them look at other alternatives and steer them away from the life of crime. We are doing our part. When I say we, including the stakeholders, but you all also have a role and you need to do your part and all too.
Well, finally, here's weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, fair periods interrupted by partly cloudy intervals associated with a few infrequent light to moderate showers over most areas from early afternoon to late evening. There's also a medium chance some of these showers could become heavy and or thundery near but not confined to hilly areas. Nighttime mostly fair, near heavy showers and or thunderstorms. Expect gusty winds, localized ponding and street or flash flooding. Expect a temperature high of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 33 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. It is currently 27 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 29 at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley will be absent for this afternoon's launch of the 5th and final session of the 12th Parliament. The Health Minister calls on the opposition leader to apologize for fake vaccines comment. A former police commissioner cautions against using a state of emergency as a crime-fighting tool. Meanwhile, attorney at law Garvin Nicholas says there are lessons which can be learned from other countries in their fight against crime, and the TTPS appeals for public's help in the fight against crime. I'm Avril Sindhill-Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril, for your major news. Yep. Thank you so much. Of course, you can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. Traffic-wise, yeah, we got a couple. By Endeavor, a car ran off the road. On the diversion of the Point Highway and Mondesir turnoff, there is also an accident there. That is creating a little bit of pileup. But where you think you're going to get traffic this morning? You will get traffic. All right. Let's see if we have any more votes to tell you about. We have Lennon Roberts saying no. That's the only one there. Only got to have one more no. So our question this morning was, do you think mental health issues are being properly addressed in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, you had 45 people voting on the poll this morning, and of the 45 people, 43 of you said no, you do not think mental health issues were being properly addressed in Trinidad and Tobago, and 2 of you said yes, you think they were. So, of course, the nays have it this morning. And, of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day and through our programming, and we'll give you the final results come Monday morning, because today is Friday and the weekend has begun, people. And theater is on this weekend on Sunday at Sapa in San Fernando. One show only of Lotto Madness at Sapa. 6:30 p.m. sharp. Tickets available at the Sapa box office from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. And of course, you can get tickets at K Squared Fashions, Gulf City, C3 Center, and Brentwood Mall, as well as Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout. You can also get tickets online, but you'll have to check our SRR Productions Theatre social media page for more information on how you accomplish that, as well as more information that you may require. So that's on this weekend, Lotto Madness.
What is that funding now?
And Sapa.
Lotto jackpot is $16 million.
Oh.
I shall see you at the Pet Butler Lotto Center to play your Lotto ticket today.
I think Richard played driving, not you. No, Richard played then, they could let somebody win.
Oh, you're implying that they allow people to win that way, rather than a game of chance?
I'm implying that technology has many, many magic qualities. The ghost in the machine, you know, the magic of it all. All right, we can open the phone lines.
Yep. 6-2 power option 8 for those in Trinidad and Tobago, actually across the globe. For toll free for North Americans in Canada, you can call 866-525-1099. All right, that's our number directly into our studio. Where did Wendell go?
But he has a flight to catch, so they're probably boarding.
It's on time, 7:55. It's on time.
So they're boarding.
Now, when you sit down, you can probably continue.
So much happening in the world. And then Trinidad and Tobago.
True. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Good morning.
I want to say to grandparents this morning. Well, parents and grandparents, but basically the grandparents. Please don't wait until tragedy strikes to assist your grandchildren, right? Because I listened to the mother of that young lady with the 2 children who was found in the water tank, and I'm saying sometimes your daughter or son might be doing things you're not pleasing of, but you see your grandchildren, if you could save them, do what you have to do and save them. Please don't wait for tragedies to happen, because sometimes just a little helping hand will ease the situation, what they are going through. As my mother used to say, children didn't ask to come here, we bring them here. And when we bring them here, we need to do what we have to do to help them along the way. That is all I would say this morning. You all have a blessed weekend.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Diego Martin. 6-2 power, option 5. 6-2 power is 627-6937. And just hit option 5 and you're good to go. You'll come directly into our studio. Of course, our telephone line is beyond our control. That's what I've been told. We have to get some provider in to get it repaired. Let's see how long that takes. All right.
So we're taking your calls. 627-6937. Is it 37?
Yep.
627-6937. Select 5 to get into studio. And of course, 866-525-1099 to North Americans. Absolutely toll free. And of course, you can still continue to send your comments, I guess, and Steve can read some of them. As we move towards 8 o'clock on this Friday morning, a Black Friday, actually.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Friday, September.
They're eating the pets.
Good morning, caller.
Morning, Paul.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Steve Tanner said, morning.
Morning.
You see the mentality. This thing is just before you understand this thing. I can remember a lady brings his son from the church and teaches son. She say he has evil spirit on the boy in front of the church. I confront the mother, ask the mother something wrong with your daughter. She said, well, she really, you know, I tell she, well, let she go and get some treatment and she will go to she. No, she ended up in the hospital in Port and in a little while and she died. So a lot of people are really talking about zombie and obia and his mental illness. I don't know why we try that. Everything is over.
Well, it depends on your belief system. If you believe that obia is a viable method to achieve your goals, you may engage in obia. Mr. Patrick, do you believe that obia is a viable method?
We had a program at the time where a doctor was giving a lecture, and he says he read alarm to the amount of people in Trinidad and Tobago will receive treatment from mental illness because they believe in obia.
But do you believe in obia?
Well, it's a belief system. It's a belief system. It's faith and belief, just like any other religion.
Like any other faith. Mm-hmm.
Like any other religion. It's just you may not subscribe to it, but it's still part of that. It's still part of that. It's still part of that faith spectrum.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Patrick, thanks.
All right.
All right, all the best. Good morning.
Gentlemen, good morning. It's me again.
Hey, Captain.
You know, I just listened to that lady from Diego Martin when she said different tourists and how kind of should treat them. You know, it's funny how it shows how kind-hearted we are in people in Trinidad and Tobago, I should say. It's different, the kind-hearted to foreigners. And I heard somebody on another frequency yesterday actually said that from Trinidad said that Trinidadians and Tobagonians are suffering from an inferiority complex. And I have to agree with that because I honestly wish in my heart that the citizens of the United States and Canada and these other places will feel the same way of Trinidadians when they come to visit, the Caribbean people or Africans come here to visit and say, we invited them here, they're tourists, and we treat them, we should help them. Because it's not reciprocated. That same thing what she's saying must be done in Trinidad is not reciprocated on the other end. It's not. I mean, you don't have to take my word, just Google them, you'll see how they treat people out here. When you come from Trinidad and they give you the hardest time, that even one comedian called Trevor Noah said something. How they questioned him in England. He was going to do a 4-day show in England. And it's a comedian. I think you all have heard of Trevor Noah. He said, the immigration officer asked him, where is the place you're going to do the show? He said, you don't know the name of the place. And the guy said to him, well, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm trying to, establish that where you're going so in case you do something wrong. And Trevor Noah said, I wish my ancestors had thought that way when y'all were coming to Africa. You understand? So it's not reciprocated. So we need to stop suffering from this inferiority complex because it's not reciprocated when we go to their countries. They respect me when I come to the airport in pilot uniform, but when I get in civilian clothes, it's like, they're holding onto their pockets and their purses and that's what goes on. The hypocrisy. So be careful when you talk these things because you need to travel and see. And traveling is the best antidote for ignorance. You guys have a great one.
All right. Thank you, Captain Ron. Good morning. Oops, sit easy. Good morning.
Hey.
Morning.
Guys, what's up? Well, when I'm reading the papers about the lady and the children, they were saying that she did identify to some people she was under pressure. Then she mentioned if anything happened to her, make sure that the children go with the father. So it seemed like there were signs of, and she was expressing certain stress and stuff. So, when we do this and when people do these things and shout out, how do we engage in the way, we don't know and maybe we just, small thing, just going through, talking it through. But there were signs, and these signs that's why I say, well, I don't know. When you're practicing in the community and you have social workers that walking around and that there, and then you could say, hey, Mr. So and Mrs. This, kind of talking to them in a kind of way, or the community center have something that you can walk in and hearing this person speaking this way. All those things about the sprinklers and all these kind of terrors, they always have signs before them. One of them with the guy, the father who was charged, they went and they spoke for the son with the gun. They went and they spoke to them before the child went into the school and did what they did. There are always these signs. And it just, goes on until the tragedy happens, And one of the most unfortunate things that we have in our society is children and cuttings in some of the most prestigious schools. You will think the stress that they are under. And this thing about self-harm is, and the thing with that and the child mode, when they take, I know they have a terminology for it, is because you don't know what will happen to your child when you leave. So you decide, I will take my children with me because it will, and these things, I think we can intervene, but we need to put in the things that are necessary. All right.
Thanks. All right. 6-2 power option 8. Not option 8, option 5. What am I saying? And toll free, North Americans, 866-525-1099. That's our numbers directly into our studio. You say happy birthday going out to Roger Ramirez and my good friend John Gill. Happy birthday to you guys. All right, we are taking some of your calls. It really is too tragic a story.
It is.
Too tragic. It's just...
It is very tragic.
And I saw that water tank, and I'm picturing the whole thing in my head. And good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning. No, I wouldn't say that I'm frustrated, but disappointed, basically, and it's more tied into the mental health issue. When it is that we are speaking about crime itself. And it's all about the communication. And I believe on the part of the police department, when it is that they're communicating to the public on their methods or the effects that happen on the population itself, the message has to be a little more strategic. And it has to have a little content to it. And I'm certain that the police will have information, right? That is not disseminated, linking certain crimes, right? And also, in that same line, when speaking of mental health, we all have a responsibility. You don't just fall upon the population themselves, but basically that the media itself, the police department, and all stakeholders who are commenting on a daily basis and propagating what it is that they see, and probably guided by their own agenda itself, that we need to be conscious of that. I'm certain that within New York and certain parts of the United States, there are multiple amounts of crime that is being reported, but the media has been a little more knowledgeable in how it is that they communicate this to the general public itself, right? But basically, how these things affect us both psychologically and both mentally, it is having a grave effect upon us. And I reflect on one of our media early in the week, where they put on the front page that a family was wiped out. But when you go into the content, you realize that they had a survivor, right? So it had an agenda or a purpose behind that. So I just said I'll communicate that to you all, and hopefully that common sense prevail.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you.
All right. And, we get a mental health. The funeral for the siblings, the 16-year-old and 21-year-old, Chanel and Keston Singh, will be held today. Of course, they're from Princestown, who were chopped to death by Vishnu Badal last week. Another mental health issue there. That funeral will be held today. All right. All right. So let's take some of your calls. Let's see what's going on this Black Friday.
Good morning, Zena.
Zena's still sleeping.
No, she ain't sleeping. She up.
You sure about that?
Yeah, she messaged me 3 o'clock to come over, but couldn't make.
So we're still taking your calls on this Friday morning, encouraging you to be interactive with the show. Of course, today is also the funeral of my dear cousin who passed, Dr. Paula Leslie Ann Pollard Thomas. She died in Georgia. So, she was one of my go-to doctors. Anything happened, I call that my cousin Leslie. But she died after ailing for a little while. Little is relative, I guess. But her funeral is today. So I know a whole batch of my family is in Georgia this morning. So good morning to them if they're listening.
A friend of mine also is going to be laid to rest today, Mr. Rollingston Agard. He's the immediate former chair of the Children's Authority. And Royal passed last week Friday, so condolences to his wife Karen and his daughters and his family. He'll have to go to a funeral later this morning also. So to the Agard family who are in the throes of grief and mourning, condolences to you. It's that time. I guess it's the way the world is now,
God, get out again. Good morning, caller.
Yes, sir. I'm back again. I want to ask a question. Why the other 10% or 15% in...
Mr. Patrick, what number you called? Mr. Patrick, what number you called?
The normal number.
No, it's not working properly. It's breaking up. He's
not breaking up at all. He's very clear.
62 power option 5 when you call him back. Go ahead.
Very clear. Yeah, the property tax. I really had to, when you're talking about you have to pay interest if you pay it.
Yes.
You have to put that interest to pay on property tax. I mean,
because you didn't make the deadline, just like almost any other tax.
Yeah, but not everybody have $1,500.
I fully agree, and particularly in the context where you only have 8 payment centers, Richard?
Yeah, about 8 or 9. I can't
8 or 9, and no online option.
If you have pension and you have to make up the money or something, or working for minimum wages, and you have to make up that money, and you get it on time, when you add all more money to that, to put people in that jail? I find some in this country, I don't know. And another thing, the police...
It's called citizen-friendly and responsive governance, and whether that exists. That's the conversation of how citizen-friendly is our governance and our governance structure. And the mere idea that you could have, and this is something that we have telegraphed for about a couple of months now, that obviously this is going to happen. Even when we spoke to the junior minister, and he said, they're working on something shortly in a slightly glib manner. And well, I shouldn't preface it by saying slightly glib, but it did come across that way. That we're working on something shortly will happen. And to read in the papers yesterday that Faris Al-Rawi is saying, there'll be an online option for the next fiscal year. How does that help our citizens today?
Who's standing in line for 2 hours yesterday?
How does that help our citizens today?
2 hours if you're lucky.
Governance is supposed to be citizen-friendly and not be filled with hubris and not being responsive to the issues that citizens are going through. It's not about a hard and fast line drawn in the sand that you are unresponsive to. Do better.
Yeah. Let me just give you guys some good news on something I just read here that Christian Chandri, this is an article from the Guardian. left his Four Roads Tamina community and enrolled into the military-led academic training program known as MILAT, and it was due to bad behavior. All right, so he went in there. He registered on the 10th of October 22 was the day he began training. Well, after 2 years, he's one of the 85 MILAT cadets to sit the CSEC exam and one of 43 to gain 5 or more passes. All right, so kudos to you.
Yeah, that's good news.
That is good news.
Yeah,
Good morning.
That's an excellent program, you know.
Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to 102.
Good morning to you.
This property tax, I mean, there's no revenue office in Arima.
No.
They put up a little mobile unit somewhere so persons could have access, different points in the country. Everybody rushing now to meet the 30th of September deadline. I mean, that is so simple that could have put in place. No online service, and we know this was coming. That is so insensitive. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Thank you, caller. Good morning.
Good morning. I would like to tell Mr. Patrick, while his concerns are genuine, Mr. Patrick has been around for far too long to not understand how the government of Trinidad and Tobago operates. This deadline will be extended. They have no choice. I just dropped my daughter to school, work, and I don't be out this hour in the morning, and just dropped my daughter to work and happened to pass. Well, the revenue office is right opposite her job. And I see this line of people, I said, what are people lined up before they buying doubles this hour in the morning? She said, no, that people lined up for property tax. The office I opened yet, and these people in the hot, blazing morning sun line up to pay property tax. I said, these people wicked themselves. That property tax not so important to me. That I would line up in hot sun 7:30 in the morning, waiting for a business place to open 8:15 because we know they don't open 8 o'clock. People will be in there open 8 o'clock and they will have a meeting 8 o'clock and open 8:15. But these people line up in the hot sun 7:30 in the morning.
Nemesis.
The deadline
Nemesis.
Yes.
You know what might be productive?
Say that again?
Or should we, when you're speaking, assume his opinion and not fact you're disseminating?
I'm speaking of experience that I've seen the government do.
Am I asking because you said it is going to be extended? You said they starting at 8:15. Are those opinions or facts?
Those are experiences that I've had with government buildings.
Are they opinions or facts?
Those are my experiences.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
All right.
All right. Remember when you used to line up for passport outside?
So you went and pay property tax and
for
it was
hours?
at 8:15 and not 8 o'clock. That's your experience.
But I can tell you somebody's experience. They went for 8 and they got in at 8 and everything, but there was one cashier.
No, but he's saying they open at 8:15. So that's his experience.
And she told me there was one cashier, and she said she's watching and seeing, and there was a long line of people, and people said, "Oh, the government, Trinidadians can't help but token," and say, "Oh, the government want the money, but they only have one cashier out." And she said, "Well, she doesn't know if that's the government or that's just public servants being late." And they're too rushing late. Oh, God, if it's so much traffic in that this morning. Another one say, "Kill, long I started waiting for a taxi."
I find the Ministry of Finance, the government lapsing because the Ministry of Finance should have put out the memo, the news release, that Nemesis is the new Minister of Finance, so he extending property tax deadline.
Yeah. And he said that's how the government usually moves.
But he said so definitively. And I'm not saying it may not happen, but that's his experience too. And I'm not saying it's not about proposition, but that's why I asked him if it's his opinion or facts. You called back just now.
Lester Craig Weller is saying here, we are last minute people. I paid my property tax 2 months ago, and I was the only person in the line in Tunapuna.
Yeah, but for many people, they budget per month and they would dedicate it to the September month. That's just the reality, you know.
Especially with the opening of school.
Not
Not everybody had the money put aside to pay.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you had the opening of school.
It's a real consideration.
And so it's a very real consideration. And it's not a little bit of money. It's not $200 you're going and pay. For many people, it's over $1,500 plus and up. For a lot of people.
Yeah. All right, let's grab some calls. Toll free for North Americans in Canada, 866-525-1099. For those locally or across the globe, like England and so on, it's 866-62-POWER. That's 627-6937, option 5. All right, give us a call. Beauty Culture says when she went, it's just two of them.
Never a dull moment.
Just coming through here.
Never a dull moment.
Slick Money Grip is saying he wants to know the date and time of Gary's service. I don't know the date and time as yet. As soon as I know, you will know. But I do know there's a week going on until next week. I'm pretty sure, 99.9% sure, it will be at the St. Charles Church in Tunapuna, where he used to sing and where we used to do the midnight Christmas night broadcast. So I'm pretty sure it's there. Date and time, I don't know. But you rest assured that soon as I know, I will let you all know. All right?
Carla Cupid is saying, if you can line up for doubles, why not meet your obligation? We must complain. Doubles is an option. Property tax
Line up for doubles
is not an option. I don't understand the analogy at all.
I know line up for doubles.
I don't think it's not about people not meeting their obligations. It's about people saying the state as a functionary knew this was coming and made it easier for citizens to pay. And for everybody that interviewed last night, they said, yes, there should have been an online option on news.
Yeah.
There should have been. That is a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. And that's what I think has citizens upset.
And especially, I'm trying to remember
because you have only a limited amount of revenue
the number of eligible properties were. Is it in the vicinity of over 100,000 or 200,000, something like that?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm trying to remember the number, and given the number of eligible properties who are obligated to pay, 8 or 9 centers? Really? And no online option? Given that volume of payments that are required to be remitted to the state?
That's why that office in Tunapuna is going to be also so busy, because it's a big, huge catchment area. Arima has no district revenue office. You have to go to Tunapuna or elsewhere.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to the breakfast crew.
Morning, Tinto. What's happening?
Not too bad, actually. First, I want to apologize for yesterday. I stepped away from the radio, and I got back. I didn't know it was we were doing the poll.
No
so
problem.
I humbly apologize for that.
It's all right.
But in regards to mental health, since COVID, there is still a lot of people who didn't have mental health and has developed it because it was a testing time for everybody. And there would be triggers, because I went back to school and was trained in this in particular field, and we need to retrain everybody, police, army, healthcare workers, in how to recognize the signs or what could be the triggers. Take, for instance, when I go to work, these individuals have a program, and it will tell you, this individual, you see that fist, he make a fist, that is the first stage of what could escalate, you know? So we must be able to read body language as well, you know? Because mental health is real and it is on a high scale right now. As I said before, people who didn't have mental issues developed it through COVID. Okay, gentlemen, I always enjoy this program, and you guys have a great weekend as well.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony Tinto out in Ontario, Canada. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Good day. Just two simple matters. You know, you guys refer to the state. I sometimes wonder when you say the state, what do you mean? Are you referring to the political director? Are you referring to the management in the public service who are paid to ensure that things are done? I mean, really perfect the public services being organized. Not only Trinidad, any public service here, and it's the same thing. There are disorganization in public services in the world over. But the Caribbean seems to be worse.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is, you all seem giving the opposition leader this foolish statement that you make about vaccine. I hope you can find a way to, make a piece of some money for that kind of nonsense.
How are we giving our free pass?
Terrible.
Tell me. How are we giving our free pass?
You would expect Senator Paul, a statement coming from the leader of the would be a matter for discussion this morning.
So you find we should discuss it more. Wendell quite eloquently chastised in his opinion the opposition, but you thought we should have talked more. 5 minutes more, 7 minutes more, 10 minutes more. How much more long? How much longer?
My apologies, I did not hear it. I honestly did not hear it.
But you make a statement you made a statement definitively that we should talk about it when we give our pass.
And it's an open forum now, so you can discuss it if you want.
We should have talked about it and we give our pass, but you didn't hear earlier on when they took some time to deal with that issue. And we actually considered a question on it.
I did not hear. I am apologizing. I didn't hear it earlier on. I may have been in the bathroom when Mr. Wendell spoke. I put it right on this at 5:30, do what I have to do. Sometimes I'm in the bathroom listening to news. Sometimes I'm in the bathroom listening to taking your polls and discussing. So I may have missed. I'm sorry. If you all discuss it, I missed it back my word.
All right. Thank you. All right. Good morning, caller. Hola.
Hello. Good morning.
Morning.
To the breakfast team. I'm happy with holiday to each and everyone on the management of Power 102.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning.
I don't know what holiday, but go ahead.
Yeah. At least many of us will try to do different things, like the mental health, we to motivate one another, to join one another, and see how we could pull up things that, when you see children or adults have a habit of doing wrong thing, despite what you will do to motivate the problem of help them to overcome a hurdle in their life, will assist, some will abide. But it happens for them when they have bad training from the very start. If you do something and you train them in a bad way, no matter what you do, you cannot get to motivate them to come. But some will take it, but some of them wouldn't. And how much some people might try, going smoothly, just avoid the discomfort or the obsession, what make you feel bad. So this one not do. You on your part by trying to do all the things to help and motivate people. But no matter what it is you try to do, sometimes it is impossible. But always say if you have unity, love, and the inspiration, God will always help us to overcome whatever is there. And as I always say, this is balance. Every creed and race, fine and equal place. So I think that gradually, whatever the government is doing and whatever people is trying to do, motivate
the association to get things going smoothly. I think always have the trust and faith in God, and we will always move forward. To you and yours, gentlemen, and the breakfast, happy Republic holiday, and you have a safe weekend. This is from Miss Valens. One best wishes.
All right,
you.
Miss Valencia, have a great one. You be safe as well. Thank you.
The Republic Day greeting. I'm just reading a rated article in the Express, which indicated that there are in excess of 200 properties that have met the criteria according to the valuation division. 200,000. 9 centers. No online. Unless there's someone and I don't know about it that I didn't hear about. If there's an online option, please somebody tell me.
There's none.
Good morning.
And because I don't want to disappoint you, Paul, there's another dynamic you haven't considered. I fall into that category. When they were doing their gathering their information, I sent him a picture of my house, I sent him a deed, I sent him all the information that they wanted to get from me. And to this day, I haven't gotten anything from them to say, well, okay, your property taxes is X, right? So I am left in limbo now. Somebody just told me I have to go by the Inland Revenue Office to find out how much I had to pay, right? I am not going to stand up in that Hudson to line up to find out how much I have to pay the government. When I send in all the information, all they have to do is send me back one piece of information, and that's too hard for them. But I must still go take my time now and go to find out how much money I have to pay them. You understand? That's not going to happen. All right?
All right. Thank you. All right. 62 power option 5 or North Americans toll free 866-525-1099. That's our numbers directly into our studio. Of course, Sir Charles is in the building already. We have our news brief at 8, and then Charlo will be in at 9. Traffic is still very heavy. Wherever you decide to look at it, Valencia stretch is absolutely heavy. Traffic again from Mocha to, let me tell you, from Mocha to the roundabout in Maravala. If you're going to take Long Circular Road to St. James, that is bumper to bumper as well. Wow. Don't know how you all do that. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Orlando calling.
Yes, Orlando. Good morning.
Question for you guys. And I may sound like Rip Van Winkle. Property tax. We have several properties in Trinidad. How do we find out how much property tax we owe? I have called, when I heard you guys speak, and I called the guys who run my properties for us. They have never received correspondence. How do I find out? I have no problem paying the tax. I'm not sure if I could come to Trinidad to line up. I think that's ridiculous. But how do I find out how much tax we owe?
You have to go to the valuation division with the deed and the bill. And
well, if it is that you registered already for it?
No, sir. I have done nothing.
Okay, well then you'll have a form to fill out. There is a valuation division. There's a valuation division website. You could go into valuation division Trinidad and Tobago and their websites.
Okay.
And you can just contact one of those offices, probably via email, find out what's the process. The website itself may give some indication too, I'm thinking. But that's what you would have to do. Because I had a query on concerning something, and but even though I did reach out to them via email, and I'm still waiting a reply, but that's Trinidad. Welcome to Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
And but I mean, it's not. I mean, well, I'm just waiting to see what they say, and I sent it to tell you how much I wasn't depending on one office. I sent it to like 2 to 3 offices. I sent the same email because they give you a PIN number. That is your reference number.
That's your reference number for your situation.
For whatever you're querying, and for whatever your issue is. And I contacted about 3 of them.
No response.
Assuming that at least one will answer. Nobody answered me yet.
Nobody. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
One other question. I have one other question. Could I also find out the properties, like my dad's property, that's still on his name? He passed away maybe 15 years ago. He just run it. So could I get information on that also?
I think all properties once they even if you haven't facility, even if it's in his name, once it's a property in Trinidad and Tobago, a residential property, you have to pay property tax. So you'd need to fill out some sort of forms for them to get it paid.
Okay. One final question, and I appreciate the information. I have a commercial property, a residential, but it's an 8-family unit. Is that considered commercial or residential?
You do what in it? Is it rented out like a residence?
Yes, it's rented out. I have 8 individual tenants in it.
That would probably be considered a residential property.
Yeah, that's residential.
Yeah. So you'd be the overall owner. So you'd have to register that to pay.
Okay.
All righty.
Other people who can do it for you. Okay, I'll maybe call on a team. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Right, so I was just checking. Remember, we're kind of saying 9 centers roughly. It's actually 14 centers to pay tax. I pulled up the website to find out. You have in Chaguanas. Now I'm assuming these places are all open. Chaguanas, Couva, La Brea, Mayaro, Point Fortin. Now, Point Fortin and La Brea both have apparently district revenue offices. Port of Spain, Princestown, Rio Claro, Roxborough in Tobago, San Fernando, Sangre Grande, Scarborough, Siparia, and Tunapuna. Now, if you look at this list, even though Point Fortin and La Brea are basically next door to each other, and they each have a district revenue office, if you look at the East-West corridor, it's only Tunapuna, Grande, and Port of Spain here.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it.
Line.
And think of the population density in Tunapuna Piarco Regional Corporation alone.
Yeah, that's the hugest corporation. The largest. Good morning. Good morning,
gentlemen.
Morning.
Dr. Paul, this is for you.
Mm-hmm.
There is something brewing to happen in that terminus in Citygate, with the Maxis collecting money and giving change on the offloading. They're not supposed to happen at all, because the law is when you're going to these Maxis in the areas coming down to Port of Spain, you pay. So when you come down there, instead of you having a traffic jam to offload the people, some of these women have that baby in one hand and a little child in the next. They have to walk a whole distance amongst these Maxis. And when the Maxis get clear and how they roll in coming down, the little child and them could put the little foot under these wheels and get damaged. And these people upstairs with a big salary not coming down and see the mess that going on down there. These Maxis are supposed to collect the money before they reach in the offloading bay. It takes seconds for at least 13 Maxis to empty. You wouldn't have no jam there, and this going on for decades now. I'm watching it since the police used to be there. I talked to a sergeant that morning, and he watched me kind of way like, if, well, I is nothing, The security guards are supposed to make sure the Maxis go down and leave clearance so the others could keep flowing in a smooth manner, but they're not doing it. So as you inside the hot seat parliament, there is something you must bring up. Let the minister call on these big people with a big salary upstairs to come down and fix their thing. Let these people collect the money before they reach in the city gate. And a simple little thing,
City gate, I don't know what to say about that, yes?
You all be safe, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Good. And once again, I passed by the breakfast shed this week. Let me tell you, outside that place just looks absolutely nasty.
It's like they've given up on that place.
Yeah, it's just a nice building, great concept.
It needs like a power washing, a giant power washer to go.
Yeah, and a little paint over too.
That's it. And
Just,
there are not many vendors inside, Steve.
I haven't been inside.
They're down to about 2 or 3, yeah.
There's something. They've destroyed that breakfast shop.
A lot of vendors have left,
They've
Really?
destroyed the breakfast shed concept.
It's a brilliant concept.
Well, something strange happened when they moved to the new location over the years, from how vibrant it was when it was under the shed. I don't know if it's the culture that changed that people didn't appreciate, or what happened. But or is it a parking issue? Or
I think a lot of it is a parking issue.
I think it's a parking issue because you could have parked and gone into the old shed, and there was, I mean, there would literally about 20, 30 people selling food, not so, or more.
Now I think it's down to 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
they've just destroyed that concept, destroyed it.
It's sad. It's sad. It is totally sad. Someone is saying, good morning, paid my property tax. I decided to Granny was in and out in 10 minutes a month ago. Wow. Val is saying, my phone is giving me real problems this morning. Well, Val, you need to buy 2 phones. One for you, one for me. I'm a first-time listener to Power 102, and I was told that Richard Ragoobarsingh is a talk show host. My family and I attended the play Lotto Madness in Queen's Hall last Sunday. I just wanted to extend my congratulations on a great show. My 17-year-old nephew attended with me. This was his introduction to theater, and he loved it. I will surely be listening to your show when I return to New York. Terry Byam. All right, Terry.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
He has some great plays. I don't know when he's going to bring America Dance. I don't know.
Thanks a lot for that endorsement of Lotto Madness, which, by the way, is on this weekend. One show only in Sapa at San Fernando. One show on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. That's Sunday the 15th. Tickets are available at the Sapa box office from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. And tickets are also available at K-Squared Fashions, C3 Center, Gulf City, and Brentwood Mall in Chagoras, and Fens of Marabella by the Roundabout. You can check RSRR Productions Theater page, RSRR Productions Theater on social media for more information, how to pay online, etc. So looking forward to it. We love going down south, which I've said several times. We always like going down south. It's always a great line.
You'll have a wonderful weekend. Please be safe, enjoy yourselves, and look out for your family and friends. Have a great weekend.
Yes, have a great weekend, people. The weekend has begun. So put a smile on your face wherever you are, even if you're in commuting at this point and you're in the middle of traffic. Put a smile on your face because the weekend is here. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And of course, head in droves to Sapa this weekend. We're so looking forward to it. And have a fantastic day and weekend. Remember to smile and laugh. It's good for your health.
All right. Thank you so much, Richie Rich. Oh, my. I did a boo-boo. Right. Okay. Here we go. I did a boo-boo just now. I deleted something I was not supposed to delete. Okay. Thank you, Richie Rich. And don't forget to pass by the Pet Butler to pick up your pet supplies on Ellsboro Main Road and Mirage Street. That's where we are, the Pet Butler. All right, let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief. It is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is time for your news update at 8 o'clock. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. New payment options are being used to carry out illegal activities by criminal elements. It was a point highlighted by the director of the Financial Intelligence Unit, Nigel Stoddard. Money laundering and terrorist financing are some of the mediums explored by those involved in the illicit activities. He made the remarks while speaking at the 5th Annual Virtual Compliance Conference on Thursday. Police Social and Welfare Association President Gideon Dixon and Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations Junior Benjamin have expressed support for the process and the outcomes of the latest round of promotions within the police. On September 12th, the police announced promotions of 8 officers to the rank of Assistant Police Commissioner. They were given their instruments of promotion at a ceremony held at the Solomon McLeod Lecture Theatre at the Police Administration Building in Port of Spain on Thursday. The Progressive Democratic Patriots is calling for focused leadership from the Tobago House of Assembly as governance on the island in the fight against crime and economic management are critical in these challenging times. PDP political leader Watson Duke says the aim is to provide a level of comfort for citizens and ensure moving forward there is stability for the Sister Isle. Duke cited the need for the current leadership of the THA to listen to the concerns and input of the people. And the reported closure of the Waterloo Secondary School on Thursday and Friday this week for spraying of mosquitoes by the Insect Vector Control Division, Ministry of Health, was a cause for concern for Member of Parliament of Couva North, Ravi Ratiram. He described the closure as abrupt, claiming it has sparked outrage among parents over the delay in intervention. MP Ratiram is calling on the Ministry of Health to provide a clear explanation regarding the shortage of chemicals and to disclose whether there are adequate resources available now to address the outbreak effectively. Well, that was your update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Legislation sets the tone for how we treat each other as a society. It provides those boundaries and the expectations, and it also upholds the rights of all of the citizens.
Legislation is important for everyone in society as it sets rules and regulations that create an organized, safe, and fair environment in which everyone is equal.
They form the opinion that because you have a disability, that you are somehow unintelligent, stupid, ridiculously asinine, you name it. So legislation is quite important, and I hope that legislation is soon coming so that people with disabilities can be who they are. People first, disabilities after.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Paul Breakfast Show. Of course, you can see on your screen we have Paul Richards and Richard Ragoobarsingh as well.
Good morning. Welcome.
Hi, and Wendell Steven.
And that's Wendell. He's in his car.
Departure.
Good morning, Mr. Hughes. How are you this morning?
Yeah, so far so good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. What is your mental state given the last couple of days? How are you feeling?
Right now, this moment, I'm just excited for tomorrow morning's hearing in the High Court. It's the only thing I'm focused on. The last week has been exhausting. We'll say physically and mentally exhausting. But right now, this morning, I feel energized and excited about tomorrow.
Mr. Hughes, could you give us a current status as to the charges that have been proffered against you?
Yeah.
Because we're hearing some and we're not hearing some. What exactly are the charges proffered against you thus far?
Sedition. Sedition is the only charge. But I'm also facing a deportation order right now as well.
And what's the basis of the deportation order that you've been told about?
No basis at all. They haven't given any reasoning.
So not to your attorneys?
Correct.
So you've been, on one hand, you are in the country to fulfill the mandates of a bail situation, right? So you're here because you have to be here because the court said your condition of bail is to be in the country.
Yes.
And if you did not come into the country, you'd be running afoul of the law.
Yes.
And on the other hand, you're here because of the bail situation and your mandate to be here because of the bail situation, but you're facing a deportation order. Make it make sense.
Doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. My lawyers contacted the DPP office yesterday and they were not aware of the deportation order either. None of it makes sense to me. I was picked up in the night last week, arrested, guns pointed at me, etc. Almost like a movie. SUVs, blacked out SUVs, everybody in ski masks, arrest me, no reasoning, no. Now, I know I'm not at home in Canada. I don't know all the laws here. In Canada, when you're arrested, they tell you why you're arrested, give you an opportunity to speak to a lawyer, etc. None of that happened. I was brought to a detention center, which I spent 72 hours in solitary confinement. My lawyer was not allowed there. They had to get in front of a judge to get whatever the proper wording is, to have the ability to come even see me. But even till today, none of it makes sense to me. Since I've been in the country due to my appearance, my passport has been taken away from me since day one. I don't have the ability to leave the country. I wish I could leave the country. So again and again, it's like the country wants me to leave, but they won't give me the ability to leave, or somebody in the country. Because again,
just for clarification, we
yes.
do have those laws. When you're detained under the Constitution and the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, you're entitled to know why you're being detained, why you're being arrested.
Right.
And you do have a right to counsel, and you do have a right to a phone call.
Right.
When you say you're facing deportation orders, walk us through that. Have your attorneys been told that you are and been given the document of the deportation order and the grounds to the deportation? They've been given.
Well, that's when I was detained and put into the detention center. There was no reasoning. It was just for that deportation. The document, the paper that I had to sign, just said deportation. With
Now,
no
it has been reported in the press that they quoted a portion of the Immigration Act that says you've been deemed an undesirable inhabitant. Have you seen that?
Yes, I heard the word. It wasn't on the document itself, but I've heard the circulation of undesirable. Yes.
Have you been told that by any official?
No.
So you just saw it in newspapers.
There's no definition. I don't know what the definition of an undesirable is. I've come here for one reason, not as a tourist, not as a filmmaker, not as a YouTuber. I've come to fulfill my court appearance. I much rather would have done this virtually, which we requested with the lawyers, but no, the DPP said I had to be in the country.
So that's what I'm not following. If it is that part of your bail conditions is that you had to be present in the country, why would a deportation issue come up if you had to be here? I'm not following that.
Well, my intuition as a semi-intelligent individual is somebody's trying to put me through as much trouble as possible, because none of it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to you. It doesn't make sense to me.
But it all comes from the same state, the state of Trinidad and Tobago, where you have been charged. You're under sedition charges.
Yes.
You applied for bail.
Yes.
Part of the bail condition is that you appear in person in the country for the court case, which is tomorrow.
My court case is done. My appearance in high court in order to get my passport back is tomorrow morning.
Okay, so the matter for which the condition of the bail has been completed, but you can't leave until the high court appearance tomorrow to get your passport back.
Well, to add more complications to it, now that I have a deportation order, even if I get my passport back tomorrow morning, I have to immediately submit that passport now to immigration for another immigration hearing. So I'm not granted permission to leave now that I have this new deportation over me. It adds to the whole process. So what initially, the reason I came here was for a 25-minute virtual court appearance. Just like the first trip I was here, ends up being weeks, if not months, of back and forth requests for my passport. It's a fight for my passport and for my freedom to leave.
So your first matter, the issue of the sedition charge, you said that was completed?
No, but the court appearance was completed and my bail had been changed in a way that I was allowed to leave the country in between hearings.
Right.
And when has that hearing been adjourned to?
Now it's pushed to 14th of January, my next year. And remember, this is not trial. These are just, they're very
trial processes.
Yes, there's no reason that I would have to be here.
But I don't know what the court system is, so I can't say. I don't know if that's a requirement of the court system under the conditions of your bail or because of the charges that you're facing. You said you'd rather leave just now.
Yes, of course.
So that's the position you've come to now. You don't want to be here.
I haven't, nothing against Trinidad and Tobago. I had no reason to come back. Right. And if I did come back, let me come back for the 15 or 20-minute court and leave. But the whole process that nobody in the press is talking about is, see, my court case is in front of a magistrate court. OK, because at maximum I'm facing 2 years in jail for this offense. Now, in my passport is lodged with the High Court. Those are two different courts. So now, even though my magistrate court is complete and I don't have to return until January 14th, sounds good on paper, and people continue to say this, including Mr. Hines, that I'm here by option or voluntary, or I'm here filming videos. It's so far from the case. Like, I've been waiting weeks just to get in front of the High Court to request my passport back. So again, it's a process, and I'm not here by choice. And a lot of people say, Chris, just leave. I can't leave. I'm on an island without a passport. My bail says that I'm not allowed to leave. So I'm doing everything I can to abide the law, but yet it seems like I'm being targeted for
What was the second detention in relation to?
Money laundering. What was the allegation?
And you were told that, or your attorneys were told that?
That's the document that I got. There was a warrant in which, again, police came and came into the home that I'm residing in and took all my equipment. And yeah, I was questioned for 14 hours by the gang police, undercover gang police, in regards to that evidence of money laundering.
But there was no charges. No charges made.
No, after the 14 hours, my lawyers said, prepare to be here for a long time again. But the truth is, you can't stick something on somebody that has committed no crime. There's no evidence of me committing money laundering. So how are they going to charge me with it? So after 14 hours of interrogation, they were straightforward. They have no evidence that I've committed a crime, so they had to let me go. But what happened the following day is that now they stuck this new problem my way, deportation.
And the equipment that was seized, has it been returned?
No. And equipment has been seized twice. So on my last trip,
what equipment would that entail?
So the first trip, same Mac, Apple computer, 3 cameras, and an iPhone, a new iPhone. So that was my first trip, and the same trip, like this trip, the same thing again. So it's double of everything. They got 2 MacBooks now, 2 iPhones, and 5 cameras.
But Mr. Hughes, who are your lawyers in this current matter situation? Because we had read earlier on that you had a problem with your attorneys with the price and so on, and that you were seeking to represent yourself. Is that an accurate statement?
So now it's so complicated because there's 3 different matters now. I have my first criminal matter, which is sedition, which I'm currently facing myself. I do have a few senior lawyers that have sort of raised their hand and volunteered to help me pro bono. But I mean, as pertaining to tomorrow's High Court, it's just myself. And then we have a civil matter in which we've started proceedings against the government for illegal everything against me. We'll put it at that. I've committed no crime here, and therefore there's no reason for me to be arrested or being kicked out of a country that I have to be here. I also have some gentlemen from Fortis that are helping me with this new set of matters. So it's quite complex now. There's 3 different matters over my head, and I have lawyers for some, and I don't have lawyers for others.
What's your gut feeling about what's taking place? Give me your gut feeling. Because you're somebody with experience. You've been around the world. You've experienced issues in other parts of the world before. What is your gut feeling?
I've embarrassed somebody. Somebody doesn't like me. I'll put it that way. Somebody is upset that I was able to film areas that they might not be able to get into. Somebody, I have a newspaper in front of me, right? And I read the newspaper every day, no matter what country I'm in. There's no secret horrible crimes are committed in Trinidad. It's published every day, even on social media. But when an outsider comes in and says the same thing, if I'm committing sedition, where's the sedition here? Like they're just publishing the reality of what's happening in this country. I did no different, but somebody was upset that an outsider came in and showed the world what was really happening. Now, who is that outsider? I have no idea. But I know that I've committed 0 crimes while being in Trinidad.
You're not the first, and you're calling yourself an outsider. You're not the first non-national to come into Trinidad and Tobago and film stuff and put it on social media. What's the difference here in your opinion?
Well, when you say film stuff, what are we talking about? Like the type of stuff that I film? I'm absolutely the first one. People might have come in for a day or 2, filmed, and then left and uploaded the video from a new country. But I mean, nobody did it the way I did it. going to the 10 or 12 worst neighborhoods and filming and uploading the video while I'm still in the country. So that's the difference. They left, I stayed.
So let me ask a question that people are talking out there, right? Because you hear certain things, right? And let me ask this question so we could get it on or off the table right away.
Yeah.
Is there a political agenda to what you are doing?
No, so ridiculous. See, I have a long list of 128 countries I've visited. If you or anybody here on this table were to offer me $100 million to name the 2 political leading parties, I couldn't do it. I couldn't even do it for my life. So I have zero agenda. I often ask many people to talk on camera. Some oppose and some say yes. Some look at this as an opportunity to say, hey, Chris gets 8 million views per month. It's worth me getting in an interview. Some people will proactively reach out to me. Others won't, right? Well, now the people on the camera that I interview, I'm just interviewing them, but they might have a reason to want to be on camera, right? Like any human, but no, I don't actively go out looking, and I could care less about politics. In my own country, I've never voted in my life, so I'm not into politics, right?
You've done this in other countries. Have you ever encountered this kind of situation?
No.
In any other country that you filmed and posted stuff about?
No, not even close.
Never happened.
Never even questioned.
Someone puts a question in the chat earlier on. If you just came back for your court appearance, why did you come with 5 cameras?
No, I came with 1 camera.
Oh, you came with 1 camera?
Yeah, I came with 1 camera. People don't realize, but YouTube is fun for people, but this is what I do for a living. Okay, I'm part of an agency. I have to fulfill my duty just like anyone else. Like if, for example, Richard is going to take a week off in Hawaii, but still wants to participate in the Power Breakfast show from Hawaii, from the beach, he turns on his camera and does a video.
So that's your job, right?
Right. He has duties.
So do you have a work permit to operate in Trinidad and Tobago?
No, but I don't need a work permit. Just like he wouldn't if he was in Hawaii and he logged on to the Power Breakfast show to do the video, he wouldn't need a work permit either. I'm not taking away money from those that are in Trinidad. Okay, I'm working virtually, just like if I were to write a novel from Trinidad, and no, I don't need to. My 9-year-old daughter has a YouTube channel. Does she need a work permit? Are we suggesting that everybody that has a YouTube channel that comes to Trinidad needs a work permit? Is that what? I just want to be clear. Or is it just me that needs a work permit? Because
I'm asking a question because
no, but I'm answering the question in the manner that you're on very touchy grounds. Does everybody with a laptop need a work permit? There's no doubt when people are on vacation, they're answering work emails from the beach or from so where does the line get crossed? So no, I've been questioned by immigration many times regarding a work permit. No, I don't need a work permit to do what I'm doing. That rule has never been broken, and so there's no charges about that.
All right, Trinidad is a sovereign state, and you are Canadian national.
Yes.
Has the Canadian embassy become involved in this in any way?
No, they're observers. They're aware of it. I mean, since day one, we've spoken on the phone. But I mean, the best they've done is they brought me juice boxes when I was in prison for 7 days, and maybe some cookies or a chocolate bar. Like that's the best that they've done.
Were you upset? Are you upset in terms of how much the Canadian High Commission has looked into your matter?
More than upset, disgusted. I'm a proud Canadian. When you're locked up abroad and you're going through these type of problems, you hope and you wish that your country backs you, especially when there's no crime committed. Now, had I gone out and committed some vicious crime and they wanted to avoid me, 100%. Then I'm human. I understand why they're doing it. But the matter that I'm going through is a human rights issue. I'm being thrown charge after charge. What we didn't discuss is before my sedition charge, I was arrested on different charges, gang-related charges that didn't stick either. So it's an obvious attempt at my freedom. So this is one of the reasons that my Team Canada, should be backing me and helping me through this situation. But as they noted, they're observers. They're not like, they don't want to get involved. They just like to.
But what would you have preferred the Canadian diplomats or officials do on your behalf? What would you want them? What have wanted them to do?
I don't know enough about what their duties are, but I often watch on TV when an American is locked up. the American embassy will step up and do whatever it takes to get that person home to freedom and get out of the way of danger. So I would expect them to do more than just observe, like have some input. I'm a Canadian.
But did you make a request of them?
Get you back. You're subject to anybody who comes into the country and has been charged under the laws of the country, because this is a sovereign state, have to go through the processes as prescribed by those laws. I don't think the Canadian officials can get involved in that situation.
Right.
So it has to be something else that you think that they can do.
I guess the definition of involvement could be different, right? Involvement could be, hey, let's go publish this in the Canadian news. Let's start reaching out to 100 of the biggest human rights resources. Let's speak to some companies in Canada, that lawyers that that this is what they work on, human rights, right? Let's reach out to the UN, see if there's any involvement. Let's do something. No, let's get Chris a juice box. Like there's no, when you're in a place that you're unfamiliar with, no family, no friends, you need somebody on your side, even if it's a pat on the back, to say we're here for you. We're gonna do something.
You felt abandoned?
100% abandoned.
Well, my question, Mr. Hughes, is have you reached out to the embassy? Has your lawyers reached out to the embassy?
So just so you understand the process, when I'm arrested, the embassy is the first one to get noticed. The embassy has known since minute one when I was arrested. So there's no need. It's not like a movie where you have to reach out to the embassy. They know, they're aware. Again, they visited me. They're quite kind people. I'm not saying they're not nice people, right? Again, when you're in jail, that juice box goes a long way. But I mean, more than that, there's been nothing from the Canadian embassy or High Commission at all.
There is a conversation going around because of what you've described and what's in the public domain. Well, the sedition charge is one that has to go through the court system in Trinidad and Tobago. That as an aside. But because of what you're alleging, that and I'm paraphrasing, correct me if I'm wrong, that you probably feel you're being harassed. Would that be a correct assumption?
Yes, most definitely.
That because you've been now detained twice, you've been put in the detention center. There was talk about a gang charge that never materialized, money laundering charge that never materialized as of yet anyway. And now the undesirable individual situation, which is part of our law, but that has not been put on your deportation order. What's going to happen in the end is Chris Hughes is going to turn around and sue the state of Trinidad and Tobago. Is that part of your consideration?
100%. Not even consideration. It's happening.
Yeah,
it's happening already.
He indicated that was happening.
Yeah. Those papers.
What is your intention to sue the state for?
For everything. For not only the troubles that they're putting me through, the freedoms that they've taken from me. I'm guilty by association. You're throwing charges at me of money laundering with zero evidence, because I did not commit money laundering. And I am a 46-year-old man that hopes to live to 120. So for the longevity of my life, I will have gang affiliated charges. I will have money laundering next to my name when you Google it. Okay, it is the association to a crime that I did not commit, nor was there ever any evidence of me committing. And I'll say the same with every charge that I've been thrown at here in Trinidad. Their attempt to tarnish my name is something I will have to live with far long after the sedition charge. Craziness. So will that impede my opportunity to get a mortgage on a house? Most definitely. Will there be times where I try to visit a new country and they search my name and they see this? Most definitely. My job is to travel, and Trinidad is doing everything in their power as a whole to keep me away from my job and making a living for my family. So when asked, did I initially come to Trinidad to get rich off suing the government? Don't be ridiculous, right? But time after time, you've said I've been detained twice. I've been detained more than twice on at least 8 to 10 different charges. So I'm obviously being harassed. I'm being targeted, all because somebody did not like one of my videos. Again, in my videos, no laws were broken. That's why all the charges were dropped related to gang promotion and gang aiding and abetting and gang whatever other charge they gave me.
But you just said the government. Are you willing to differentiate the government from the state, or do you think it's specifically from the government?
I don't even know the difference. I I don't know about politics. I don't know about government and state. What I'm saying is somebody in power or somebody that has the ability to continually harass and detain me is doing their best to drive me crazy, because I have fear at night of police.
To follow up on Paul's question, Mr. Hughes, do you believe it's somebody in the government or as opposed to somebody in the police service?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know enough about the police service or the government. I couldn't name 3 people that work in the government. My job is actually quite simple. I visit a country with no knowledge. I walk around, I talk to people, and I film. I'm often told that I give people a voice that are voiceless. I don't come and I don't do research on politics or the hierarchy of the police station. I've met very nice police officers and military and correctional officers along the way. They stop and take a picture with me, but I don't look into it any deeper than that.
Have you been back in the areas that you went where this initial issue started? Have you been back in those areas since?
No. Well, I went to St. Paul once to film a video when I first returned, but no, I didn't go to any other neighborhoods.
When, as a blogger, your trade is part of the attention economy, correct?
Yes.
Right. Would you say that your sites have been seeing more traffic since your issues in Trinidad and Tobago, or your work in Trinidad and Tobago, or your blog, your video work in Trinidad and Tobago, and since your legal issues or your challenges in Trinidad and Tobago, or has it damaged or has it impeded your site?
Damage. It's completely opposite. Like people hear Christmas list, they see the name. There's no call to action. I'm not on these TV shows like, hey, go to my YouTube and start watching my videos. So what people are doing, they must be doing is just Googling my name. So I mean, my viewership before Trinidad was 4 or 5 times higher per month than it is right now. Look, like any other human being in Trinidad, I'm getting tired of myself. I don't want to see myself in the news every day. So it's like I get nothing from this, and it's the opposite. I can't film. When I'm in other countries, I'm filming 30 videos in 30 days. Here, I don't have that ability. So viewership is completely.
So do you think this whole situation has damaged your brand?
100%. It's not think, like everything is factual. So if you were to look at my summary of just very basic statistics over the last 3 years, and you were to compare that to the last 3 months, these have been the worst 3 months I've ever had. Not even close. So it's not even about what I think. It's actual and factual. It has made a huge impact. And my inability to travel, I can't leave. I'm stuck. I can't go to work in a different country. I can't move around.
So Mr. Hughes, if this problem, right, if this situation developed because of certain videos that you made in certain areas, was there ever a proposal for you to
Wendell's frozen.
We lost you, Wendell.
I think you said, was there ever a proposal to remove the videos?
I think that's where he's
move those videos and we leave you alone. Has anybody ever approached you?
No. So my suggestion during my questioning phase of the sedition is, if my videos are seditious in nature, tell me which ones, and I'll remove them. And I have my disclosure in front of me. It's not right here, but it's somewhere here. Where the people questioning me said, no, we would never ask you to remove the videos. Now, I took it upon myself to remove the videos for 2 weeks, just because I thought it would be the right thing to do during my locked up phase. When I was released, I asked again, is there any reason that I should have these videos down? And they said, no, we can't stop you from uploading videos. I broke no rules. I broke no laws in pertaining to YouTube. So YouTube didn't take down the videos. So when I got released from jail, I made them live again. They were always there. They were just hidden from public. But no, nobody has ever suggested or asked me to ever remove any videos.
No, the only thing that came to mind when I looked at your videos, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because my memory, because the video is not up anymore. I have searched for the video and I haven't seen it. Is you were in St. Augustine following some police involved shootings a couple of months ago. Would that be correct?
I don't recognize the name St. Augustine. Is there a different name it might have gone by?
St. John's Road. Could have been St. John's Road. Could have been.
I still don't recognize the name.
Yeah, but then it doesn't make sense going because there were police-involved shootings, and I think the word "killed" was used, and it had me kind of jolted. But if you can't remember it, I can't.
So no video has been removed. So any video that has been there, the title itself might change. If statistically a title's not doing well, I might have changed the title. But the videos themselves, every single video I've ever filmed in Trinidad is live on my channel right now.
So what's next for you in this country?
Hopefully get out of the country. That's it. All of my equipment has been taken. I'm using somebody's laptop right now to talk to you. I don't have deep pockets, and every time all my equipment gets taken, it could cost me anywhere from like $6,000 to $10,000 to go rebuy all these items. I don't have.
So the original set of equipment has not been yet returned to you?
No, on both occasions. So
all your equipment is still in the custody of Trinidad and Tobago's system.
Yeah. So even
laptops, 2 phones, 5 cameras.
Yeah. And you sort of touched upon it and said like nothing has been like built up of this money laundering. That has been dropped. Like that is null and void. The reason I'm not in jail is because there's no evidence of that. So that is not something. There's no charge against me. Nothing like that. But the items that were taken during that warrant are still being held hostage. Yes.
Have your lawyers?
So why haven't your lawyers? Yeah. Why haven't your lawyers applied to get them back?
They have. It's all part of the process here in Trinidad. Like it doesn't happen. Nothing happens immediately. So it's the due process.
What about the latest seizure? Because you would have had a laptop and cameras taken recently.
Yes.
Are they at least trying to get that back?
Yes.
And no success so far?
No.
Has anyone associated with you in the country also been questioned related to these proposed charges which never materialized and the sedition charge that you're facing?
No, not that I know of. You have to understand when I go to a community and I interview strangers, I don't get their phone number. We're not like pen pals. We don't keep in touch. I become aware the same way you guys, and I guess in the media, become aware by reading the newspaper. So I mean, I don't know these people. I don't know how to reach out to them, and I meet hundreds, if not thousands, of people in each country. So not that I'm aware of. No.
In an interview with one of our colleagues on this platform, I think in the afternoon, earlier on, in the very early stages of these challenges that you're facing, you said because there was so much attention and because where you were staying had been published, that you felt unsafe to a certain level. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Do you still feel unsafe?
Yes.
What do you feel? What makes you feel unsafe?
The not knowing. I guess rules are different country to country. I don't know the rules. I've never been in trouble in a different country. But when somebody I don't know how to put this without sounding like a big-headed man, but with somebody of how popular I've become due to these problems and a lot of fake information out there in news. Yet when I'm arrested last week and detained in warrant, it's released. The news releases the address where I'm at. So I mean, all it takes is one, we'll say, idiot with a grudge or that's upset or that's delusional, to end my life. So I'm always on the swivel. We live here with some big dogs, and the dogs are my warning signal. I jump up every single night when I hear those dogs at the gate barking to see what it is, what's going on. That's something
Would you say you've been treated well by Trinidad and Tobago Police Service?
How could I say that? I mean, there's individuals.
Well, I mean, they can do their duty and still treat you with respect. So that's where the question comes from.
Yes. I have no ill complaints against any individuals in the police service that I know. Obviously, I don't want to be arrested without evidence of a crime. But no, everyone from the people questioning me to the correctional officers in the detention center to every step along the way, I've met nothing but polite and kind, professional individuals.
That's great to know. How is your family dealing with this? Because you have a wife and children, and this must be something for them in Canada.
Yeah. My eldest son is 18. He's well aware. People that know him send him messages laughing like dad's in jail again. My middle son has autism. He stays away from social media. My daughter's too young to really understand. So my wife tries to hide the information when possible. How does she feel? I don't know. She's a strong woman. She has she supports me. And hopefully I have the thoughts that she has, and I just want to get home. I just want to get home to my family.
What is your support like in terms of regular Trinidadians and Tobagonians, in terms of what you're going through, whether it be the detention center or the charges that didn't hold? What are Trinidadians, everyday Trinidadians and Tobagonians tell you if they interface with you?
In person, it's 100% positive feedback for the people that come up to me. Look, if somebody's across the street and doesn't like me and doesn't say or interact with me, I can't read their mind. But I mean, I interact with hundreds of people every single day. Young, small, light skin, dark skin, rich, poor, and it's 100% feedback. Chris, we need you. Don't stop. Don't stop the fight. People need to be heard. Last night at 8:30, I was at a celebration of life, because 10 days ago a 20-year-old boy was killed 10 doors down from where I'm living, was murdered. And I went there to visit the family yesterday. No cameras. I had a camera. Somebody hadn't let me borrow it. I didn't want to film it because I'm not about views. And they were crying to me and saying, Chris, you need to continue to show the world what we're going through, the average people here. Don't stop. Don't stop. And this is what motivates me to do what I do. I have no agenda. I'm just trying to come up with some sort of, I don't even know how to put it. I know I will not stop crime in Trinidad. And people will say Canada has more than enough problems, which I would agree to. But when I go to country, the job that I take on is I just want to document and show the world what's going on. If there's a tsunami in Japan, I'm flying there to show the damages. If there's war in Ukraine, I flew to Ukraine to show what's going on. I didn't come to Trinidad with ill intent. I love Trinidad and the people.
So that's what put Trinidad and Tobago on your radar that made you want to come here in the first place?
It is the question I get asked most often, and I don't have a fancy reply. I'm going to every country in the world. This is my country 128. So I chose to go to 127 countries before Trinidad. So as you can see, it wasn't high on my list.
No, I didn't say it was high on your list. I'm asking,
No.
something must have drawn us to your attention.
No. There's nothing that drew me at all. I'm going to every country. There's 197.
Is this a random choice?
A random choice. I'm going to every country in the world. But I mean, since coming to the country, I wish I would have come years ago. I didn't know Trinidad was this incredible. I didn't know the people to be this kind, right? But no, there was no specific reason I came on this occasion. It was just next in line.
So who?
Go ahead.
Sorry, who would have been the Trinidadians who would have welcomed you and taken you around and so on? Because you didn't go to those places by yourself, did you?
I went to the places by myself. 99% of them, yes. It's always me. Like my resume, if you look through my videos, it's just me alone. I don't bring other people with me out of fear for their lives. Me, myself, I feel like I can control myself. As for being with other people, I would never want to be held responsible for their lives. And that's the reason I go by myself.
So you had no knowledge of Trinidad before you actually landed here?
No, I have friends in Toronto that are from Trinidad. I've eaten the food before. I've listened to some soca music. But no, I didn't know anybody in the country, no.
All right. Are you willing to take some calls, Mr. Hughes?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Our phone lines are open. Our guest is Christopher Hughes, Christmas list.
Yeah, 62 power option 5, and of course toll free North Americans in Canada 866-525-1099. That's our numbers directly into our studio.
I can certainly see why you feel a sense of harassment, because I mean, with the exception of this decision, which is now a charge which you're facing in the courts, I mean, being detained on 2 occasions, having your name associated, and I think the authorities will corroborate this with gang activity, money laundering, and what's the other one?
Well, now deportation.
And the deportation is undesirable. It's not something that you feel anyone would feel comfortable about in any way, particularly if you were detained and there was not enough evidence to detain you further or charge you, as I understand the criminal justice system. Call Steve.
Yep. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes, my heart goes out to you. I want to extend my sympathies. I want to extend my apologies on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago, because we're supposed to be a better country than this. I am one of the activists that keeps a close eye on police officers, and your experience it gives me motivation to keep going, to keep an eye on police officers, because clearly they are capable of ruining your life if left unchallenged and unopposed. And I want to say that it is not just the police, because I want to believe this comes from a higher up, or more on a political level, because a deportation order doesn't come from the police. That comes from immigration. So it seems like somebody high up is activating a set of different organizations to victimize you. And that is a serious problem that I'm hearing and I'm seeing that we are having in Trinidad. And they are doing it, I strongly believe they are doing it because they were embarrassed by the videos that you made, and they embarrassed the police, they embarrassed the Attorney General, they embarrassed the National Security Council, they embarrassed everybody by those videos that you made, and they are trying to activate the different organized units at the defense,
National Security Infrastructure.
National Security Infrastructure, and target all of them, put the bullseye on you. I cannot for the life of me understand how first of all, why did they ask you to come back to the country for a virtual hearing? You could have done nothing from in Canada.
Yeah, Mrs. We have other calls. Huh?
Yeah.
We have other.
Thank you.
One thing right about is the police ability to change your life at the drop of a hat. That one is true. Certain.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning to the panel.
Morning.
Good morning.
Muslif, one question.
Yes. Yes.
Trinidad. That's my.
All right, you're breaking up. You have to call 62 power option 5. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, all. Good morning, Mr. Hughes. I'm calling to you. My heart goes out to you. I feel for you. I ask you to keep the faith and hope that good and legal sense will prevail. And I apologize to you from the land of my birth to treat you how they're treating you. I really do apologize. I've been following you for the past few months. I just got to know you, and I feel like I know you well. You just keep the faith, sir, and we'll pray for you. Take care, Mr. Hughes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. 62 power option 5. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to the power family.
Morning. Morning, Orlando.
No. This is Derek O'Neill. Listen, I had a question for Chris. Chris, I had a question for you.
Yes.
When you entered, I'm in media, right? And
yes.
When I enter certain countries, it is always ask you purpose of your visit. Now, when you came into Trinidad, what did you put down as purpose of your visit? That's my question.
So on my first trip is tourism.
Tourism.
My second trip, I'm not here as a tourist. I'm here to fulfill my obligations in court.
All right.
So that's not an option you can normally tick. So the immigration wrote it on my I don't know what you want to call it, my
immigration form.
So do you think there's a conflict there? Because I understand your explanation earlier on that, well, if you with your laptop, I travel and I do work on my laptop and I didn't get a work permit, but I'm doing work, but I'm not, I didn't think I needed, so I understand your explanation earlier. But when you put tourist on your visit and you are doing stuff that you make a living from, you understand? Do you think that's a conflict there?
Again, it's like, I'm not a lawmaker, right? And if you make a law, the law has to abide to everyone. So again, if you're suggesting everybody that has a YouTube has to now apply, well, Trinidad would first and foremost be the only country in the world. Countries want people to come and take photos. And I'm
not suggesting it is. I'm just saying
I'm not opposing you, and I understand the question exactly. but I'm saying, at what point do we stop? You know, people make an income from Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, now X, YouTube, and many other ways. So again,
but I'm just playing bush lawyer.
No, I'm with you, and I agree and I understand. So I mean, just to the caller, him working for a mainstream media is not the same as me coming with a little GoPro camera. We're both filming stuff, but we're not in the same world. He works for a business.
It's a gray area because we can also say, and I guess they may be able to argue to in court if they so desire, but that you haven't been charged with breaking a work permit to sue in the country in any way. So
my initial arrest before sedition included that charge, and that charge was dropped because there was no evidence of me breaking any work permit.
Because I was going to say, people come for Carnival all the time, film stuff, come with cameras and upload it to their sites, and nobody says anything.
Of course.
You understand?
Right.
So that's the other side of it.
All right, taking a couple of calls again. Good morning.
Sorry to call back, guys. But Chris, I had a statement to make to you.
Yes.
Somehow along the line, you did say that you are in media. So when you enter the country, you're supposed to tell the immigration that you're media. You can't come in and say that you're a tourist and you're uploading stuff and putting it on media. You're actually working as a media. So you're supposed to notify them as such. And that, to me, is the conflict where you're facing right now. That's what started and pulled the trigger on.
So can I answer your question? Can I answer?
Remember, you were not just a tourist uploading stuff. Like, I'm in Trinidad. You actually said you're part of media and you have a media company. So if you have a media company and you're doing that stuff, that's the conflict.
Let him respond, please.
Let me respond. I've never said that I have a media company. I don't have a media company. I'm a YouTuber. Okay, and just so we're clear, as of today's date, I've never broken any law pertaining to work. So what you're voicing is your opinion, which is fine. Everybody respectfully can have an opinion, but no, like the actual factual.
I will put up something that indicated that somehow you did say you're part of media.
No, I've said I'm a journalist. I've stated that I'm a
conversation like you having today. Anyway, guys, you guys go ahead. Have a good day.
I think you did say you work for a media company, but you say?
What company have I said? No,
I may be wrong, but
I'm a journalist. I stand corrected if I'm a journalist. But we're arguing about apples and oranges. I have not. None of my charges are pertaining to that.
Okay.
So,
and that's why I asked the question earlier.
He's giving his opinion that he should do this and you should do that. But I'm saying again, if that's going to become a law, then make that a law. Everybody that's going to upload to social media, because everybody on this panel has social media, and at some point you're outside of your country. So if the law is every time you upload to Instagram, you need to apply for a media, then I'll abide by that law. But you can't pick and choose who has to follow those rules.
But it depends on if you're uploading in someone's interpretation. It's part of your revenue base and can be considered work.
Because my 9-year-old daughter makes a very small commission, but she makes money. So the day and era has changed. There are people making profit from every Instagram post, even them showing a bikini on a beach. So if it's in law, if it's stated in law that everybody that makes a profit, I've been making profit online my whole life since the internet has started, even when I'm in a different country. So we have to understand that I'm not being charged with that crime because I
was going to say that's not the charge you're facing.
Right.
Chris, closing comments?
I love Trinidad. I love Tobago. I'm tired of this. I'm as tired of myself in the media as everyone else is. I get it. I'm very confident in the judicial system. I would like to go again and say police, firefighters, military, correctional officers I've met have been the kindest people in the world, even when in, we'll say, dark situations like me being detained. So I would like to thank them, everyone's kindness and support in the country. I am very confident that I will be found innocent. I know I've committed no crime and I came with no ill intention. I love Trinidad. I would encourage everybody around the world to come visit this incredible country. And if I had one wish that I could make to the world is like the violence here in Trinidad has to be stopped. Too many young people, old people being murdered. And Trinidad has so much more to offer than crime. So I hope somebody in this government or this country can help cure the problem.
Chris, thanks for your this morning. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. All the best.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
There is a connection between government policy and law in the sense that all laws start as some type of government policy. So, for example, in Trinidad and Tobago, we would have had the recent national policy on persons with disabilities. And that policy talks in very strong terms about the need to both enact laws to provide for the human rights of persons with disabilities. It also talks about the need to amend laws that we have on our statute books right now that discriminate against persons with disabilities. So once that policy is adopted and approved by the cabinet, then the process of making it a law can begin. The difficulty with the policy remaining as a policy, two things. One, it's not enforceable. So it does not really give you any rights legally because it's just a policy, it's not a law. And the other thing is that policies can change over time. Policies can change over time as the needs of the government or the focus of the government itself changes. It can change if the government itself changes, so that it's not enough for us to say, well, we have a policy. We have to take that further step to make the policy a law, because that is what will give full protection for the human rights of persons with disabilities.
But you see, the whole point is that we now have a convention that says that a person with disability has all of the rights of anybody else. And the Trinidad and Tobago government, because it has signed up to that convention, is bound to create laws or to create legislation that ensures those rights. Right. I think that's pretty wonderful. What do you think?
Oh, it's a pretty good idea.
Thank you so much, Eileen.
Thank you, Jean.
Let's look to the future.